Bates, how you doing over there today, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Touch. Your boy Dazzler, he's having a technical difficulty right now. As you see, he's got a clean backdrop, and he came with the energy as well. That's what we were trying to come with. We all saw the comments in the previous YouTube video, also the comments in the chat as well. When Daz brings the energy, when he upped it up, it was just a different level of First Touch, and that's what we love to see. Oh, you're back now?
I believe I'm back, yes. Like they did it.
Take two here.
Take two already again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Touch. We are back here with another episode. Dazzler and Roll Diz and T-Bates here coming at you hot, and everybody's looking good today. Gentlemen, how we doing?
That's more like you. You know, I like when you're here on time, Daz, and the camera and the mic and everything's working. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, just like today is, and just like the guests we're about to have on stage. Well, I'm not sure if they're handsome gentlemen. I won't say they're beautiful, but yeah, I'm ready, and it's gonna be a lot of sitting back because T-Bate's got some yappers in today's show to compete with. It's gonna be fun.
Interesting. So what you're saying is you're not gonna talk the whole entire show.
I don't have to. We got some big mouths coming in soon.
All right, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. As you can see, I'm doing pretty well. I'm still wearing my do-rag. It is a part of me. And yeah, I just want to make that known. Still wearing the do-rag, so yeah. But other than that, we're having absolute. Listen, if you know, you know. If you don't know, we'll try to figure things out. You don't know. Listen, you can't hate from outside the club. You got to get in first. Anyways. Anyways.
Okay,
having a good day, man. Great day. Always excited for First Touch. It's my break in between my studying, so it's how I get my energy out before the rest of the day, where I go back to looking at a book.
That's true. That's valid. So definitely going to be a good show today. Of course, like the guy said, we have special guest here. We're also going to be talking about the regular season. After the regular season is going to be over, we're going to get some of the GOAT conversations going, top 10s, moves that potentially should be made, building teams, all sorts of stuff here. It's going to be a big show. But of course, it's going to be a big show because we also have people around the world who are doing big things. I want to start off with something like that because we do have a special. Actually, we'll introduce all of our guests here at the same time, and we'll tell you why. Bring in Jimmah, Stax, and Johnny Boy. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's good to see you. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Ripper. Cheers to have us on.
All right.
Can we start like a series? Like if Roldis is going to have an episode where he doesn't talk, can Bates do one next week?
Wait,
sure,
that's impossible.
Actually, no, that makes perfect sense because next week we are trying to do some RLCS show matches. So yeah, we can do some RLCS show matches. I don't have to talk at all.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter to me any kind of way.
Everybody liked that.
I wouldn't care. I mean, Chad, you guys let me know. All right. But of course, first things first, I mean, like we said, gentlemen, it's good to see you guys here today. We're going to need a lot of voices here for a lot of these topics. So I'm glad we got everything covered. I want to talk about Jimmah here. Of course, Jimmah, OCE representative. First time we've had someone from OCE. Well, maybe not first, but definitely one of the few times where it's not CJ here. So it's good to see you. And you're also being very successful. 6 for 6 in OCE regional wins. Talk to me about it, man.
Yeah, look, I'll kick things off by just, recognizing that it's been I think a long time coming. So thanks for having me on. I think CJ's been the OCE representative for a while, but really happy to be on the show here. Yeah, so we did the 6-peat as you sort of summarized, and basically as soon as we qualified for both the major and worlds, we've just run off straight to boot camp. In fact, I've just come off from 30 hours of travel to lock in here. I swear I'm going to fix my lighting in a moment. It's just sort of bugged out of me for a little bit, but yeah, no, it's been a pretty ripper season. Can't really complain with it so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain either if I was winning everything in the region the entire time. That's for sure. Let's throw those highlights up for power while Jim is able to fix in those lightings. And for Stax, we're able to see this power team show up and show out. And, we've seen them do this here in the online part. Of course, people are going to have questions for the major. We'll probably talk about that once Jimmy gets back. But, talk to me about this power domination.
Well, yeah, listen, you said it. They go 6 for 6 in the open qualifiers, and now the question is, can they do it against international opponents. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I was on the show, that this is the closest we've been to seeing an OCE team break into the top 8 and kind of make a run, make a statement against some of the best teams in the world from the other regions. I think they finally recovered as a whole from kind of that big setback that was 2020 onward, and now we're ready to see Oceania get back to where they were when, you know, Chiefs were making a run in Vegas during Season 6.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Chiefs, Chiefs is going to also be able to join Power here at this London Major coming up soon. It's going to be the first time we've seen Chiefs back. I believe, when was the season? It was like that big dominant season where they had Drippe, Torsos, I forget the third.
It's Cammy.
Cammy. Okay, yeah. That was a long time ago. And yeah, now they'll be here, of course. Power still looking like that team to beat. Jimmah, do we have you? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that one. I've been battling the studio for a little bit, but I'm here. Yeah, no, it's like what Stax said just basically took the words out of my mouth. I mean, we can see that we got some, you know, good highlights here throughout the recent split or major as we call it now. But yeah.
I mean, kind of talk to me about like the team here. What has changed, or what's been the big key factor as to the reason why at least you think your players have just been winning everything? Because outside of you, it just seems like a fight, but you guys have a clear difference between everybody. What is it?
Yeah, there's a few things that we've done. So the first thing is quite obvious, is we did pick up Banana Head and tapping into him. Like, he's just such a young player, like full of talent, lots of potential, and just really tapping into that has been really good. He's always hungry to go. Despite how successful the season's been, it has been probably the most challenging season I've ever had as a coach, right? And people think it's quite quite funny, because you'd think that if you're just winning everything, it's quite a cakewalk, but it really wasn't. And I think for us, we really were just at the drawing board, regularly reflecting on how we are going. I was really lucky that the team is quite autonomous now. I found that Torse has sort of transitioned into like a more of a captaincy role, which I really, really like, especially for me, because I work as a teacher. I'm a senior coordinator at a community school, so being tight for timing has been really hard, and he's just sort of naturally filled in those boots. I think, one day he's going to make an absolute ripper coach, but he's stood into some leadership roles. It meant we could talk back and forwards, and we just sort of hit it off quite well. And in fact, if you look at this recent event that went by for OCE, we lost game 1 basically every single time. For some reason, we're just this team that we're wildly inconsistent, but we have these tools of reflection, and we just steer the series around. And we've been like that for quite a while. So we're kind of lean into it. Like, we'd love to just sweep like we used to, but we seem to have this weird thing where we just, you know what, we got that out of the way. Let's reflect. Let's review. We know where things work. We know where things don't work. And then I think that's just sort of been our bread and butter, and it's pulled us through.
How has that helped you guys between now? Well, not now, I should say, improving from Copenhagen into London. I think T Bates especially was one of those people who, saw you guys potentially being able to make it out of Swiss. You guys weren't able to do it. Do you think that between now and then you guys have made enough changes to where that could be a little bit more realistic?
Yeah, it's really hard. I think we did look at Copenhagen as a learning experience. The meta is just it's changed so much, and not to sugarcoat it. I want to come on as the OCE guy and be like, yeah, OCE, like, this is us guys. But in full reality, there is such a gap between the major regions, the EUNA, and the minor regions, especially OCE. Like, it doesn't take much to kind of see where it is, and then that's why we really want to invest in those boot camps early. It's why we've come basically straight after the event and come into this, because you have to immerse yourself, you have to learn. And so I think it's not like we have to sort of reinvent the wheel. Like, we saw a lot of the gaps that emerged in Copenhagen, and there were just so many that you just can't fix them all in 2 weeks, right? It's very challenging. So we're kind of hoping that we can hold on to what we learned in Copenhagen, build from that, and then again in this boot camp, just continue to progress and learn and try to close as much as that big gap that we see in front of us.
Okay, well, shoot, I hope you guys can make it happen. That much for sure. All right, gentlemen. We got some yappers. We need to lock in with the rest of the world conversation here, okay?
I don't even get to talk to Jimmah? Or I guess I'll talk to him the rest of the day.
No. If you got questions for Jimmah, go ahead.
It's fine.
I'll be here all night. I'll give it a go.
It's fine. Listen, Jim, I mean, you know how much respect I got for you. You know how much respect I got for OC. You talk about a big gap. It can't be that big. You went 2-3 in Swiss. Y'all right there. Y'all on the precipice. It can't be that large.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things, and I think LAN is like the great equalizer. I mean, so we've gone 2 and 3 multiple times, and you know we've taken down Sam, Mina. We beat G2 in one of the events. We've been to game 5 twice to make it to top 8. So like we're on that, I guess, cusp, and we do lean into the fact that LAN is just so wild, and we can get into it. But I think when you're looking at you're setting goals, you're setting targets, and you see the teams in front of you, obviously we want to be confident. We're like, yep, like let's believe we want to win. And all we know is winning, because at home, that's all we do. All we do is win at home. But as soon as you go overseas and the things that you do at home are just punished through and through, it's really rich, right? And so when I say the gap is huge, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, this is doom and gloom, like what's the point? I almost want to say it's like really exciting, because at home here we don't get challenged in the same way that we get with an international one. Like I remember one of our early scrims was against Falcons, and oh my goodness, that was like an eye-opener, because what they did to us no team would do here domestically, right? And so yeah, while there is that gap, we recognize it, and we just try to close it bit by bit. And like you've brought up teammates, we are finding wins. Like we are taking games, we are at least getting goals. We have gone 2 and 3 multiple times, so it's not like we're completely out of it. But being realistic in our goal setting too, we know that like, hey, that we have to put in work. Like we can't just show up and be like, all right, let's just win real quick. We have to boot camp. We have to show up. We have to put in the hours, and that's the only way we can really do it. So yeah.
I don't want to make excuses for a team, because again, losses are losses. But if you remember the 3 teams they lost to in Copenhagen, it was G2, who was the runner-up. It was BDS that took G2 to 6 games, and it was Gen G who lost in 7 to the eventual winners, Gentlemates. So just keep that in mind, that yes, they go 2-3, but those are the 3. And with Swiss being just a roll of the dice 5 times, you run it back even 3 more times, they're probably going to make a top 8 out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to bring that up. I wanted to come across hope. Thank you.
I got you. I am Captain Cope.
When we got knocked out, we're like, oh no, like we should have done better. And then we see them in top 8. Absolutely, we're like, you know what? Maybe losing to these teams isn't the worst. So yeah.
Well, I think that again, next time around, what you guys are looking, it can continue to be in that conversation, and maybe we do see you guys like on that big stage there in London. I think that'd be an absolute treat. A lot of people would love that.
Wait, I have one more question for Jimmah.
Okay,
Light on me.
Since like as a former coach, I know that it's like super hard to be preparing for certain matchups, and it seems like you have your region kind of down, even though you guys say that you go off to a pretty slow start. But going international, how hard? Just speak to me about the challenges that you face as a coach preparing, going from international back to your domestic region, back to international, because you're saying that your teams domestically don't challenge you the same way that international matchups. Do you like do extensive replay review before you go back to boot camps? Like, just talk to me about your challenges on trying to get back to international presence.
Yeah, well, you basically summarize the challenge. Like, it's really hard to balance it, and I dare say, anytime you ask any coach, they're going to have a different approach. And basically, I'm still trying to work that out. And we bounce that as a team. Like, what does this actually look like? And a concern that we had is for those who watched OCE, when we came back from Copenhagen, we nearly got knocked out in Swiss at home. We still won the event, But we went to round 5 in the first event when we came back. It was such a weird thing to like play really well, bring all these things home, and then kind of struggle and kind of flounder around a little bit, right? And then at the same time, you've kind of got to bring it back. And so a huge problem that we have is at home, because, you know, we watch RLCS, we love this game, we see what's out there. And obviously that's only one slither to what it is to actually play against these teams. That's a whole nother experience in itself. And so you can fall for the trap of scope creep, right? So you go out there and it's like, oh my goodness, if we need to win, we got to correct a million different things, which isn't feasible, right? And so it's sort of making it digestible, having clear set focused goals. And you find that you kind of get a cascading effect. Like if you knock one thing down, and it might be the way that you challenge or position or whatever it might be, it helps other things as well. So you kind of just like try to be intelligent with that one. But certainly going back between domestically, like sometimes, you know, in OCE, you've kind of got only a handful of teams that you can scrim. And so trying to like delineate what are we going to focus on when we scrim maybe a weaker team, right? Because there are some scrims where we'll just blow the team out of the water, right? Yeah. And then we think, how can we make that valuable? Well, like, can we work on certain kinds of comms? Can we experiment with certain types of kickoffs? Like, how can we make it valuable to just, rather than just blowing a team out of the water and be like, yep, done, we'll tick that off, right? And I wish I could give you more than that. Like, we really are in you know, in the spot where we're trying to figure that out. But yeah, it's certainly one that we're always talking about and trying to figure out, yeah, how do you use this time going back and forth between the regions?
Thank you.
I got a question. Last question.
Go for it.
What's the expectation? What's Power doing over there in London? What are you expecting? To make it round 5? Like, what you think?
Oh, absolutely. So the goal is, like, we feel like, not that we've been robbed out of top 8, but we feel like we should have been there. Like, there's been so many game 5s of top 8. So that is like, that's in front of us. And it's stacked. Like, the competition is huge. Don't mean to cause drama, but we've got, you know, multiple EU teams now. Like, it feels like we are like the ultimate minor region team. I'm not too sure, right? Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like the competition is stacked now, and I think Johnny Boy was talking about it. It might have been on the Chalkcast actually. That like even for Chiefs to go 2 and 3, like there's so many teams that are deserving of top 8. It's like you really have to, if you want to go 2 and 3 anyway, that's almost an upset there. And so top 8 again is like that step beyond that. So that's certainly our goal, obviously, to go as far as possible. But yeah.
Well, your first round matchup is against Oxygen, that is at least from what we know from Wikipedia. So that'll be quite the start. I think a lot of eyes will be on that series for both you guys and for Oxygen, see how they're looking at the major. And yeah, this is where now we do transition into it. Regular season is over, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we talked about Power to win the sweep of OCE as a region the entire season. Again, big congrats to that, because that is very, very hard for anybody to do. And so I think we see Falcons do it there, but in MENA a lot. But for you guys in OCE, especially considering the competition, congratulations on that again. But yeah,
even Limitless didn't do it in SSA.
Can we take a look at the EU Major 2 standings, please, so we can see again how teams ended up there in Europe before as the regular season?
Come on, put your mic closer to your mic. Put your mic closer to your mouth or something.
Oh, okay, cool. Here we go.
Oh, never mind.
Ben said don't do that. Yeah, here's the points. Here's the points, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
All right. Well, while you're fixing that, I'll do the talk. Here's the points later, Jay, in Europe. In Europe, you got BDS 53, Vitality 45. JB, you've been quiet this whole time. Now we're coming to you, man. This is your region. Somehow, some way, in your top 10, you got BDS all the way at number 1 now. Is that because of number 1 to points?
Well, it partly number 1. Honestly, more importantly, back-to-back EU wins, and taking down a lot of the biggest competition in the region. In doing so, they've beaten Vitality, they've beaten Oxygen, they've beaten Carmine Corp in the most recent one. And yeah, I think Gentlemates might be the only team they've not had a chance to play. But if they were to play, I very much expect them to beat Gentlemates online as well. So yeah, they're the top team in Europe right now. And Europe being the historically and most recently strongest region. If a team goes back to back in the last 2 events before LAN, I'm most likely going to rank them number one. And they're not. It's not like they're way off the pace. They didn't just come out of nowhere. They were definitely a contender in Copenhagen before having a underperformance by their standards in the quarterfinal. For me, I think back to back in EU is just it's very, very scary for the rest of the world to see that.
It is.
Pretty good.
It is. It is definitely. Let's see. We talked about OCE. Can we get the OCE major 2 points up as well to see where they finished off in? C and OCE, of course, you're gonna expect Power on top, but then you got Chiefs sitting in that 49th spot. So this is the London major points here. Of course, Chiefs is gonna be that second team. Pioneers was really close.
Damar, I hate to inform you that people cannot hear you for some reason. Put the mic closer.
Okay.
Is the mic closer? I was gonna say something, but then never mind. Is the mic closer?
Hello?
So, anyways, the things that matter: Chiefs are second.
Okay.
They're going to London.
The
chance to
Chiefs
go to
have Gus,
Worlds.
right?
Yes.
What do they need to
Gus
do? They
the
need to
boss.
get like 2 wins
Finally.
in Swiss.
Yeah, Chiefs need 2 wins in Swiss in order to take the world spot away from Pioneers. Pioneers beat them in the final online event of the season, which is kind of a big deal for them because it makes it much more difficult for Chiefs to steal their world spot away. If Pioneers didn't do that, then Chiefs would have just needed, I think, 1 win. So yeah, big win there for Pioneers in the last event. Even though they didn't take down Power, they still made it more difficult for Chiefs to take their world spot away.
The Chiefs don't have Gus.
Don't they? I thought they had Gus.
Nah, they
I
used to
thought
have
they
Gus, I
did.
think. They used to
No,
have
that's
Gus.
that's
they
Kid
don't.
Gang.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
Kip Gang. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
No,
that's it's Hunter Finn and
Hunter Finn
Kaka.
Kaka.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just so badly want Gus the Bus to play on LAN so we can say that on LAN. And I think I've
I mean,
started
so do
manifesting it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. That would just be a perfect line. I mean, Jimmah, looking at the OCE points, it's always good to have a good OCE man on the first touch. Maybe we should do this more often. Like,
Good.
is going off those points. What was that? It was you first, Chiefs second, Pioneers third. Like, is that the actual rankings in your eyes, or you think Pioneers might be a little bit better than Chiefs?
Oh, that's hard because OCE, we have this weird thing where it's really good to find the best team, but the second best team is often difficult because of just how the format goes, right? You can knock out the number 2 team in let's say the semis, and then the 3rd or 4th team kind of get like a free run, right? But I would say this is quite accurate. It's been a bit interesting because for me, it has been us as number 1, and then it's been sort of trading places between Chiefs, KCP, and Kib Gang. Like Kib Gang, for some reason, are just excellent in scrims. They just struggle to execute on game day. Chiefs, for the most part, have been really good. And I don't know, maybe it's the pressure of that everything was on the line. They just got absolutely demolished by KCP with their coach subbing in, which like no one expected that, right? And a part of me is like, wow, it's like if that pressure got to them, what does that translate to? So I'm not too sure, but what I'm kind of seeing there is actually quite accurate. For some reason, while I've always been concerned about this format, it has actually produced what I think is the performing teams at this stage, despite some roster changes and despite a little bit of mixed match.
Hey, listen, learn something good right there. Listen, I respect that. Listen, that's the OCE credential. That's stamped right there. So nobody can say we don't know what we're talking about. Because Jimmah definitely knows what he's talking about. That's no question about that. Is Damar good now?
Hello? Do I sound quiet?
I don't know.
1,
Chat.
2, toodaloo.
Chat, how's Damar sound now?
Better.
Sounds
thank
better,
you.
they say.
Good.
Good, better. Where's CJ? Nowhere to be found. Probably, I don't know what time it is over there. So,
You're
probably
thinking
might
of
be
the
asleep.
other show. You're thinking of Johnny's show. Johnny, CJ, and Rizzo.
The Chalkcast. They
It's
might have
It's
better
the morning
production.
over there, right? It's like 4 in the morning.
He's sleeping. It's 4 in the morning
Yeah.
over there.
All right.
I hope
bet.
he's sleeping.
All right. That's good. All right, Damar, keep it going then. Glad to
Okay,
have you
let's
back.
take a look. Thank you. Let's take a look at the APAC Major 2 standings as well. In case you didn't see that, we'll flash it up here for you really quickly to let you guys know. Gladiators will be in London and Elevate will not. So Gladiators, once again, we see them on top. It could potentially mean some things are could shake up here. Gladiators, Maxu, Virtuoso, though, Marky Duda coaching. Vert back on stage. And then they again with Though being the addition there, could be a little bit of a difference maker in APAC. We'll have to
Well, now I gotta cut you off again.
But let me help out with something here.
Gibberish. Oh goodness.
So Gladiators made Worlds by 1 point as well because of this. They've qualified for Worlds by literally 1 point. They don't have to do anything in London, and they still make Worlds by 1 point. And that is because the last place team in London will get 1 more point than the last place team in Copenhagen. Every other placement that the 2 teams have had throughout the whole season is the same. They've completely traded. 3 wins each, 2 second places each, and 1 third place each. But yeah, they both. Well, assuming that this team finishes last in London, which is not a guarantee, they could, they could do something. They could go 1-3. They could maybe do make a miracle run, but they don't have to. They're already qualified for Worlds.
So you're saying that Gladiators made Worlds?
Yeah,
They
by
have,
1
yeah.
point.
Because because of the extra point.
Your
Yeah.
Asia Pacific representative to the Rocket League World Championship is from Singapore, Poland, the Netherlands, and then a Scotsman coaching the squad. We didn't see
Although,
Marky
but
at Worlds.
Is
I can't
Bart an
wait.
honorary APAC player now because he's been there for a season? You know, he
No.
went over there to play for 1 year. I feel like at some point he becomes an
No.
honorary member.
No.
Can he speak the language?
Nope.
Which one? There's a lot of them.
whichever country he's residing in.
I don't think he. Well, wait. He's living in Bali for the season. I don't. What is the language in Bali? Is Indonesian or something? Wait. I'm just.
I imagine he might be
Indonesia.
one of the more multilingual players that we have in the RLCS because, he travels quite a bit. He's been all
I
over
don't know.
the
I feel like
place.
at some point, if not this year, then definitely next season, he becomes a honorary APAC player because he's been there for so long and he's
Nope.
played with Realize. He's played with Max now. Like that is. I
I don't
think,
like that test.
I mean,
What
how
happens,
long
what
do
happens
they-
if I just move to SSA or something and then do I become an honorary SSA player? No, I
Well,
don't believe I
not
do.
immediately, but after a certain time, yeah, I think so. I don't know
No.
if how
Surely
long that
the-
should be, but I think there's a time frame that you do become like an honorary member of that region if you've been there long enough.
Maybe if you
Or-
actually have if you actually have the intent to stay, if you're not competing in RLCS, then maybe you become that. But I haven't talked to Vert about this.
Why
But
does
I
that
have the
matter?
assumption-
I
I think-
think
You know what
it
I have
does
the
happens
matter.
assumption
if
that
you
he
move
does
to
not have the
SSA
intent to stay.
You
It
finally
matters
get to
at
make a
all.
land
What,
as a player.
He's got to contribute to the local economy or something. Like, what is
Yeah.
that going to do with
It's
Rocket League?
abject. Yeah, that's how residency happens, occurs via the law. That's how residency occurs, Johnny.
Oh,
Boy.
not
we're
at
talking about
all.
the law.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
let's
you
get- we
actually
don't
have
need
to have
talk
an
about the
intent
law.
to
Like,
reside in an
Wait,
area that you live
wait.
in.
Nah,
So do they have to be citizens?
Well, no, in esports generally, no. You just have to
No, I
be a
mean for
resident.
Bates, for
Yeah,
his
for
acceptance,
Bates.
for his
The
hypothetical
law.
That would be a citizen of the country. So some
Yeah.
countries it's hard to become a citizen in. So I'm not necessarily going to say they have to be a citizen. Cause I mean, if you came to America, I mean, good luck becoming a citizen here. But regardless, I will say that I mean, you just have to actually have the intent to stay. So like, if you're
But
actually trying
why,
to
though?
find,
Why
and
does
like
it matter?
he's because that matters. 'Cause otherwise, you're just hopping regions in order to
Well-
maximize your chances at making lands. Listen, I
Yeah,
don't want
to
to get
play
this
Rocket
discussion on
League,
the
yeah.
screen. I don't want to do it. I
Why
don't want to do it.
not?
I don't
There's
want
a
to do
great
it.
Where the money
discussion.
is.
Why
I'm in a
not?
bad. I'm in
Well,
a
there's a great discussion.
nope. Too many eyes. Too many
Where
eyes.
the money is.
No,
Too many
what's wrong with
eyes.
this discussion? I
Too
feel like
many eyes.
if a player wants to play Rocket League in another region, there's a right way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it. I don't think Mobile have done it the right way. I think Vert is, much
You
closer
think
to doing
is
it the right way.
Abjack an American now?
Well, I think after a couple seasons in NA, yeah, he.
I mean,
can count
Noli's
for an
starting to
honorary
put season on
NA
his
player.
food, so
Nolly as well.
Congratulations.
like,
Nolly
it's
as
no
well.
longer salt and pepper. Like, he's starting to put some Cajun on his chicken.
I would
Listen,
say
as
this,
long
it's
as
not.
Abjack keeps winning games, he's a North American. The second that they, if they go 2-3 in Swiss, he's a Brit.
I just don't think it's the same.
That's crazy.
But
I
like,
just don't think it's the same.
Go
You
ahead,
can't
Jimmah,
put
go
them all
ahead,
in the same
I was gonna
category.
say-
Like say that they're all going to to another region, therefore it's bad. Just by blanket statement. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it, in my opinion. And I think Vert is much closer to doing it right with how he went about that last season and this season.
yeah, I think for me, it's really kind of a little bit muddy because this is a season where you don't represent a region, you represent a server that you can play on from your own country. Like you can qualify for lands on ping. if you wanted, right? Which we've actually seen, you know, so players don't necessarily have to move over to try it, and we've seen teams do quite well, you know, not that they had a deep run, but you know they'll be on like 350 ping and still, you know, get that $300 paycheck or whatever it might be. So I wonder if there's a bit of ambiguity there. It's just like, yeah, you don't necessarily represent the region. You're sort of representing the server, so to speak. It doesn't really matter where you reside. You can just queue up and see how far you go.
They can represent the server rather than region. I don't know. I can't separate those two. I can't do that. Cause imagine somebody. What does West Coast? What does US West get to OCE? What is that ping?
Like 180.
So yeah, okay. So imagine you have 3 US West players and they play OCE, and
They're
it's
gonna
highly
lose.
unlikely. It's highly
gonna get
unlikely.
farmed.
But okay, that's not okay. It's a hypothetical. and so
They should try.
imagine that they actually somehow beat out y'all.
They're not
To
gonna
me,
do that.
they're
though.
not representing the server. They're representing your region, which is, you know what I'm saying? Like they're.
No, they're not.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's where the ambiguity is, because it's like, I like what you're saying. Do you need to reside in the place? Johnny Boy brought up, do you need to contribute to the economy, like pay your taxes
pay
into
tax.
that? I
Yeah,
don't
what
know
is
what
going
that
on here?
looks like, right? But I just know it's a little bit, it can be a little bit hairy.
Listen, this is a conversation we can talk about all day. Maybe on First Touch After Dark or Talkcast.
Valid. Hello. I'm back.
Are
Let's
you?
talk more Rocket League, and we will save the region conversation for a little bit later. Is this 2022? No, it's 2024, but it feels like 2022 when you got BDS beating everybody. BDS beats Luna Galaxy in Game 7 and finishes the season in back-to-back qualifier wins. Let's take a look
Tomorrow.
at... No.
I hate the punch.
No way.
But it
No.
seems that you're not back. I don't know what's wrong. Honestly.
Can we roll the BDS Luna Galaxy
They can't hear
highlights,
that.
please?
They can't hear that. Or I think you should just try what I said. Maybe you should move the mic closer.
We're gonna bring the mic closer.
All right. Chat, how does he sound like that? I mean, he sounds like he's in my ear, but he might just sound better for y'all.
I'm fine when I'm loud. I need to be loud. Yeah. Okay. I
Well,
just
you're
need
pretty
to
good
yell.
at that, so go right ahead.
They were great. Look at this BDS domination.
Hold on, let me turn them down, bro.
All right, bro. Listen, we had the BDS versus Luna Galaxy. Johnny, were you on the cast on this one?
No. Wait. Yes, I was. Yeah, I was. Sorry, I was with Cole.
What'd you think about this match, bro?
I was really impressed with Luna Galaxy's entire run, and yeah, BDS are just they're just too good. Luna Galaxy were able to play them really close, and they played some really exciting Rocket League. Atomic in particular was outrageously good in offense. The whole team. I loved, by the way, Tox's post-match interviews. So he was giving some great interviews after the match. If you have a chance to go back and watch those, I definitely encourage you to do so. Because he had a lot of good insight on their run and his role in the team as a third man. But yeah, lots of high praise for his teammates. I was super impressed with this team to come together when their season is essentially already over and to still give it everything and play BDS this closely. Hats off to them.
It's a big turnaround too for Tox and this Luna Galaxy team, because I remember, I think it was the second qualifier. Tox was over in the Shift Discord, and he was very upset over how that qualifier had wrapped up, and I don't think he was happy with the preparation of at least one of his teammates. I don't think he said which one, but for them to then turn around and make a run all the way to the finals and push this BDS team all the way to the brink when all they have to play for is just money and pride. You know, their season ended that day. That's an impressive turnaround for this group, and it kind of makes you excited about what the future could hold for each of them individually.
Oh, good thing you said individually, because the chances of people staying together after this offseason.
Of course not. There might be 2 rosters from any of these regions that stay together going into next year, but I know we're here talking about Team BDS. I mean, let's talk about them for a moment. I mean, they were over 2.5 goals per game over the final 2 qualifiers. Exotic goes for a goal per game through the whole split. He's the only one. Drolly was first in assists, but I think that kind of comes with an asterisk, because I think anybody that kind of watches him understands it's not necessarily passing. He's generating a lot of rebound opportunities, and those are getting cleaned up. And, you know, that counts as an assist just as much as a pass does. So they just generate so much offense, and they don't do it with demos. They just generate shot after shot, and they overwhelm you.
I think that's the craziest part about it is that they're not doing it with demos. I've said it over and over again. I think if they implement some demos, this team is disgustingly far ahead of almost every team in the world. The way they're playing right now, this BDS team is looking like the Monkey Moon's on his way to, I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth, but winning another world championship with this roster if they keep this consistency up.
Game 7 against Luna Galaxy win 1-0, and they're disgustingly above everybody else in the world.
I mean, Atomic is peaking this day for sure. He's going absolutely insane. We've only seen Atomic play this well very few times. And then Chronic and Tox, like, we didn't see this Luna Galaxy team doing anything similar to this since they've teamed up. Like, I think people have had high hopes of this Luna Galaxy team playing this well, competing to the 4th spot or competing for that 4th spot for the major, but not to this degree. And I don't think BDS, like Johnny said, was that far off from being this BDS that we're seeing now. I think they're 100% the favorites. And if they implement demos, then they're far ahead of the rest of the world, to be honest.
Far ahead. So, okay, they're not far ahead just yet. You said if they implement demos, that's a condition.
Yeah, they're not. I think they're still the favorites in my head, but like they're not as far ahead because they don't implement demos. Demos would set them apart.
I see. Okay, heard that. Jimmah, I don't know. Jimmah, what time is it over there for when EU plays?
EU? I'm not too sure. I'm still like in recovery mode. All I know is it's like 7:30.
Oh yeah, he is muted in Discord.
That helps. Thank you very much for picking that up.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no. What was the question? What time is it for me?
No. What time is it when EU plays for you? Like, so when you're in OC,
it's right around this time of day anyways, right?
So we've had, not the lights again. That's right. I'm going to keep rolling with it. Basically, we've had like 2 shifts in time zones. So I was really lucky that it was actually quite early for me, which is around 1 a.m. Usually it's around 2, 3 a.m. that they start. And I usually wake up around 5:30 in the morning anyway to go to work. So I try to like quickly like sneak in like a grand final or maybe a semi-final if I get up even a little bit earlier. So it's pretty hard to check in, but it is pretty exciting. Like I got to see like the tail end of that series live, which was absolutely awesome. So we try to check in, and it's good to hear when CJ's there as well. So he's obviously putting in the hours too.
Well, he puts in them hours. He put hours being put in without doubt. Nobody can question CJ's grind. CJ is up for ad. I don't understand what time he's up, but he's up. He's up and he's working. That's what's going on. But that's what happens.
He never sleeps.
He never sleeps. That's what happens. BDS, they did best in the Galaxy. You got some people. Johnny, we'll bring up the FT top 10 a little bit later in the community top 10. Johnny had BDS move up like 5 spots in his ranking off of this win, being in Luna Galaxy in Game 7. Raul was claiming that BDS is the best team in the world, and if they implement demos, it won't be close. So that's what's happening right now. And then Monkey Moon and the boys are dominating. Demar, you're looking pretty sad over there. Have you figured it out?
I don't think I feel like I just need to yell the entire time. So I'm stuck on this tone until things change. I'm very glad BDS won. That's really cool. I don't think they're the favorites still, though. I think that's
How
can you think they're favorites when you're just watching them online?
So who's the favorites then, gentlemen?
Who's the favorites?
You two all day.
Another team that he's watched online.
But a team that I've watched make a grand final. I haven't watched BDS make a grand final.
Save it for the top 10.
They just won 2.
Save it for the top 10. We can talk about the top 10. We got to keep it moving. DeMar, listen, since you got to scream, listen, I'll let you take a back seat this time around. I'll handle the transition just for you, because you know why? I love you. I love you and I care for you. And you look sad with your black
background. The ship is being steered by Captain Bates. Everybody buckle up.
So anyways, we're talking about 2022. The next conversation is going to be the GOAT conversation. Because when we were prepping the show, we had a thought. Raul, myself, and DeMar, we had a major thought. We're thinking like, man, Monkey Moon just went back-to-back yet. And you were thinking, and Monkey Moon wins the World Championship, where does he land? And then we thought about it. Man, what happens if Seiko wins the World Championship? Where does he land? Monkey Moon, for those y'all don't know, here's a list of a little bit of the resume. I got to pull it up here on Wikipedia. It's long. I mean, so he's been to the last 2 world championships, won one of them, lost another one. How many regional wins does this man have? One too many. I'm not counting that. It's more than 10. I know that.
Dominated for a year and a half.
Is it
man.
10? I think he has more than 10.
He's been the 1 seed in I think 5 different splits in total, including this one, because he was he was the 1 seed in all 3 splits in a Season X. He was the 1 seed in the last split in 21-22, and then he's a 1 seed this time. So 5 times he's basically won a split in Europe.
5 times he's basically won a split in Europe. That's right. And then you got to think about all the way back then in the RLCS X Championship. He played in the final of that after winning about at least 4 regionals back then. At least 4. Might have won 5 or so. Might be underestimating. I
think it was 5. Yeah.
You think
But,
it won
like,
5?
they won the 3 online majors because it was an online era. So
Yeah,
they
he
won
did.
they won the splits basically. All 3 of them.
Exactly. So basically, throughout the open era, he's been the GOAT. And he's back winning. He also has a major championship over there in where was that? Stockholm. In Stockholm. And yeah, so that's just domination on his part. And then Seiko as well. Since he entered the league and enter the league officially 21-22 World Championship, Rookie of the Year, World Championship final again. Just won the most recent major with Gentlemates. I mean, he's up there as well. So the question for the panel is, if Monkey or Seiko win Worlds, where do they rank all time?
Are we talking RLCS or just Rocket League esports as a whole?
There's a distinction?
Oh yeah, definitely, because there's like DreamHacks, E-Leagues, X Games, other massive LAN events that are not RLCS events, but they do weigh into some people's GOAT conversation. That's why I think it's important to establish. You just read out a bunch of RLCS accolades, so are we sticking to RLCS? Are we also
Rocket
including
League,
other things?
Rocket League esports as a whole. Then that's always the way I interpret it.
And the question is, if Monkeyman wins Worlds, is he the Rocket League esports GOAT? I would say no. Because I think K-Dot's other accolades are just still a bit too much, such as 5 online. They both have the 5 online EU wins. Actually, they both won 5 splits, so that's the same. K-Dot's won Worlds 3 times, came second 3 times, which maybe those Worlds are half of Monkey Moon's because they were annual versus 2 in a year. But yeah, K-Dot's also finished second place at E-League 2017, third place E-League 2018. He's finished second place DreamHack Summer, second place X Games 2017, second place DreamHack Atlanta 2017, first place Gnarly 2018, second place DreamHack Leipzig 2019. Also beat Monkey Moon in Season X championships and won Season 9 online. I think he's actually won, he's won a lot. Or second Season 9, I think it was, and then they won Spring Series. It's just too much. But I'll tell you what, though. I'll give Monkey Moon, if he can win the Major and Worlds, he's the GOAT. He needs to win both, though.
Yeah, if he wins both, that's big. What about just Worlds? Would you put him top 3?
Yeah, top 3. If he wins Worlds, he's top 3 with K-Dot Turbo. But I think K-Dot's my number 1 until a little bit more. He's just got so many trophies outside of RLCS.
Sounds like he got a lot of second places. Monkey's got a lot of first places.
Yeah, Monkey Moon's got second place to K-Dop in Season X. He's got second place to Zen last year.
He did get second place to him then.
Second place to Zen twice last year. He's got a few second places as well.
I like Johnny's logic. I would probably also say the same. If he wins Worlds, I would put him top 3. Major Worlds would be pretty crazy, especially with the gap.
Yeah, if he wins both of those, he's the GOAT. Just Rocket League in general. I think if he just wins a major and not even Worlds, he's the RLCS GOAT. But K-Dop's got a lot of outside of RLCS achievements that Monkey Moon doesn't have. Monkey Moon's not. I mean, there hasn't really been a lot outside of RLCS since Monkey Moon's started his career. So that's part of the reason why he hasn't done anything outside of RLCS. But you can't take away K-Dop's other accomplishments from him.
Is he already top 3, or where is he right now, Johnny?
For just RLCS?
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. If we're just talking RLCS, I think it's he's already the big 3 with K-Dop and Turbo. And I think he's the GOAT if he wins this major. Right now, I'll say K-Dop. Even just RLCS, K-Dop for me. I do value second place. I think 3 second place at Worlds is definitely pretty good for K-Dop. 6 consecutive grand finals is pretty good for K-Dop.
It is tough to put a lot of weight on London here because it's a major, but everything in this region, like the only European team that really cares. I mean, yes, there's seeding and yes, there's money and all that. The only European team that needs to perform is Oxygen. Like they need to get runner-up to try and steal K-Corp's world spot. Everything else is set, and everything is. It's almost like we're just kind of waiting for Worlds. Like I know that with these majors, you do have the best of the best coming to compete, and so we might not feel this way in 6 months. We look back at this and go, yeah, well, yes, it was a major, it was an international competition. I mean, when I saw this question, my snap response was, if Monkey Moon wins Worlds, he's right there with Turbo and K-Dop. Overall, he's in that discussion. And if it's Seiko, he's very, very close, but not quite. And with Monkey Moon winning the major, but not Worlds, I think it's a little bit less. But it's also tough because this World Championship is just in format. It's another major. There is no wild card. There's no other stuff to it. So it's not quite what the RLCSX championship was compared to the RLCSX season, because that to me was completely useless. But I don't know, it just feels a little bit different from maybe the past World Championship.
But there's gonna be huge complications because it's a 7-month, or like there's like a huge time gap between the major and then the Worlds.
This man said 7 months.
I mean, it's gonna feel like 7 months, bro. But if you get to the major, if Monkey Moon gets to the major, wins that, and then has this huge gap, and then wins Worlds, I think that just says so much.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. If they do that, he's the GOAT. Like, for me, I think that's just insane. He's already like almost matched the longevity of the original GOATs, like K-Dop and Turbo. So yeah, if he can win another LAN at the tail end of this, if he wins a major, he's the RLCS GOAT. If he wins Worlds, he's I think top 3. RL Esports. If he wins both, he's alone. He's number one.
I mean, on the RLCS side, I mean, okay, we're talking Monkey Moon and Seiko. What happens if Vitality wins London and Worlds? Where are we talking about Zen and his very, very young career? On the RLCS side, not on the RL Esports side. It just hadn't been around long enough. But RLCS side, that's a pretty impressive list of accolades in a very short amount of time.
I still think
I gotta think about Zen.
He doesn't have the longevity. He doesn't have the longevity, and he doesn't have the amount of like titles and trophies as Monkey Moon, K-Dop, Turbo, these kind of players, Seiko even. So if we're just talking RLCS, I think Zen can put himself in the GOAT conversation for RLCS if he wins. I mean, the major and Worlds, but it's not clear like Monkey Moon.
Definitely not on the RL Esports as a whole side. I mean, everybody's got a lot of catching up to do to K-Dop because he's got so many years of being at the top. And while he certainly had an increased number of wins, you can only compete with what's in front of you. And so that was the format when he played. And there's still a lot of work for everybody to catch him.
And I think to add to that as well, I don't know how many people put much weight into this, but I think like the GOAT status has to have like kind of a bit of a narrative to it. Like Zen's kicking goals, don't get me wrong, he's great. But I love with Monkey Moon because I just find the open circuit so dangerous. I found it really cool because there was a while where he fell off, right? And then he picked up, was it before Boston? I'm trying to remember where it was Monkey Moon, Seiko, and Rise. And what a comeback. Like he looked himself again, and look at where he is now. Like I love to see that career path where it's like, yes, in the dangerous world of the open circuit, this great player can fall off, but then they can come back and still be killing it, right? And I love that narrative, and I wonder like if that plays into the GOAT status as well.
I mean, you say that's the same thing he did in 2021, where they went out early in, it was double London bracket?
Yeah. Is that London against?
Well, they KCP, they lost early. Didn't they get perfect swept in LA?
Yeah, they won like 06.
Yeah,
and then
they picked up Seiko, won the spring split online for Europe, went into London as one of the favorites, and then they got 0-6. They just swept twice by Team Secret, and Pioneers. So it was the biggest, I think, surprise loss, then followed by winning Worlds right afterwards. So, going back to London, maybe Monkey Moon's got. I mean, they've got the perfect copy. If they have a horrendous event, like they could just run it back, win Worlds right after.
Same place too.
Yep, both places, same
exactly
places.
same.
Yeah, both are the same.
That's
That would be
2022.
crazy.
And G2 and BDS are two best teams in the world. Ain't that crazy?
History repeating itself.
History repeat himself. But listen, I feel like this time we're gonna have a little bit of a change. Oh yeah, Falcons are up there too as well.
Yeah, BDS is gonna win both this time.
You forgetting Moist as well. Like Moist were kind of favorites going into Worlds after London and LA.
Who's Moist this time? Is Moist this time Oxygen?
Now I'm saying, like you said back then, G2 and BDS were the best in the world, but it wasn't that case going into Worlds. It was Moist, I think, where everybody's picked to win it. Well, most people's picked to win it after back-to-back finals, including a win in London. But it wasn't meant to be. Vatira keeps on peaking too early. Last season it was winter. The season before that it was spring. Now it was Major 1 online. Like they just keep on hitting their peak performance at the wrong time, which turns out to be
listen,
the big
What
thing.
is that?
Johnny, it's interesting you bring that up because now Vatira might have a very extended break, or he might have a very extended break up until he plays for the World Championship. And now his season rests in the hands of Big Archies and
Joyo.
Oxygen and Big Joyo back in London. Let's get to the Europe top 4.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's see if we talk about the Euro top 4. Take a look at the European points. Pull them up for me, Ben.
Yep, what he said.
Boom,
Let's pull up
shakalaka.
those points.
Why are you my ad lib?
One, I want to say stuff sometimes.
Put your microphone.
I know. I'm trying. It works when I yell, when I get loud.
Damar, tell us the points.
Look at the points. Gentlemates Alpine at 97. BDS at 95. Someone called me the ad lib in chat. Shut up. Vitality at 90. Karmi Corp at 87 and Oxygen at 61. Remember, Karmi Corp will not be at the major, but Oxygen will. And Oxygen are trying to get more points to Karmi Corp. And what Stax said was that they needed to get runner-up at the major, second place. Y'all really laughing at the ad-lib stuff, man. You know what? That's the point situation, but let's talk about it. Is this Europe's best 4? There's no Karmi Corp. What do we think about this? I want to start with EU man himself, Johnny.
So is the question like a power ranking question, or is it like is this the 4 best teams that split? Because for the 4 best teams that split, yeah, for sure these have been the best 4 teams that split and deserve to go to the major. But yeah, if you're power ranking teams, you can make a case for KC still being in the top 4 in Europe. But I don't think it's I don't think it's like NA last split where Space Station were eliminated without ever playing against OG and LG, or well, except I think once against OG. I think they traded wins with OG, beat LG once, and they didn't make the major because they just got bad draws. Like Karmi Corp didn't get bad draws; it's not an SSG situation, so I'm not upset to see them missing it. I think they deserve to miss it because they didn't play well enough when it mattered. But yeah, they may still be a top 4 team in Europe. It's up for debate.
I just want to remind everybody, the European online qualifier winners, K-Corp, all 3 in the first half. And then what? Vitality won 1 and BDS the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen to number 1, they didn't win an EU. Obviously, they won the major in Copenhagen. That propelled them. But they've done all this without actually winning the event in their own region. And they're still right there at the top. I think that, you've got Gentlemates, BDS, and Vitality are the best 3 in Europe, no question. K-Corp, where they really fumbled coming down the stretch, I think they're right there in that second tier of teams with Oxygen. I think that you could take either one of those teams, put them in a LAN, and they would be the 4th best European team, which makes me hate the fact that there are only 4 teams. It's just this highlights that 16 teams is not enough for these international majors. Not even close. And boy, I hope that we get more going forward, because the fact that one of those two teams is going to be sitting on the sidelines, to me, is unacceptable.
The same for Shopfire Belly and an OG as well. I feel like it was great to see them play for the major spot. That means OG thoroughly deserve it, winning against their biggest rival. But I would have absolutely loved to see both of them there. Rebellion would be so fun to see on LAN. They're definitely at that level where they can compete internationally. So yeah, hopefully next season we can get, or in the future we can get, NA5, EU5 back into majors.
What do you think about this, Jimmah?
Yeah, I'm kind of, and maybe it's like my OCE perspective, but I think like LANs are just so different and they're so valuable. And maybe this might ring true for some people here, but like a LAN team that I really admired was Furia. Like they, like all through open circuit, they would come out, they'd play real confident, and they would just upset quite regularly. And it was awesome to see a minor region just play with such confidence. And then when they moved to NA, they didn't do too well online. It took them a while to finally attend to LAN. And then when they made Boston, they just didn't look like themselves at Boston. I forget what they placed. I think they had one win to their name.
It was last, actually. Yeah, they lost to NIP, their own countrymen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it was even worse than I thought. And I remember watching them, and I was thinking like, oh, if they just had a few more LANs, they would just be so much better. Like I generally feel like LAN is something that you practice and work towards, right? And so I feel like it does create a bit of a distinction. I'm not too sure what this might look like, and for all we know, maybe Oxygen might prove me wrong. Maybe they can come out having not attended a LAN in quite some time, those players, and maybe they can make it to the grand final, right? Or even worse. So, but I'm definitely in that spot with you, Stax, where I think LAN is just so valuable for the competition that I would just love to see more teams there, just because there are teams like I said, it's just heartbreaking to see a team like Furia who do so well at LAN not attend for a while, and then you just don't see them play that exciting self that made me a fan of the way that they play. So yeah, it could be selfish reasons there, but yeah, I definitely would love to see more out there.
What do you think about the strength of the teams that are going though, at least in Europe's perspective?
Oh, like EU's just they're crushing it, and I think Johnny Boy nailed it. Like the teams that are going, they deserve to go, and certainly all the teams there, like you expect them to do deep runs, right? The only maybe one that I'm somewhat apprehensive about is Oxygen, in that they haven't had that LAN experience. Like they're all LAN experienced players, but it's been a while since they've been out there. But on top of that, again, they have this immense pressure of not only do they have to do well, they have to do very well. They have to make it to the grand final to progress into the next tournament, right? So I'm curious to know what that might look like for them. They've all got it. Like they've all performed quite well on LAN as individual players, certainly. So yeah, I think that's the team to watch for.
They've got the pressure of playing you guys in the first round as well, so that's tough for them starting off with a loss against OCE number 1.
Absolutely. And once you lose to OCE, it's like tournament over. So.
Archie's not gonna like that.
Okay. Gentlemen up top. What do you think, man? EU sitting in their best 4.
Best 4 teams in the region?
Yeah.
Hey, you had a face when Stax was going on about I think he was comparing Oxygen and somebody else. So what was that face about, Base? You remember what he was saying?
Oh yeah, he's saying Carmine's a tier below everybody. I don't believe that's true.
But you think they're still up there?
Yeah. They had one bad day.
Bro, they had multiple bad days now.
I feel like
One
they
bad
had at least minimum 3 bad days. They were eliminated 3 times online. One particularly
is
very
losing
super
is
bad
losing
day.
online a bad day.
For Karma Corp, yes. That's not something they did in the
okay,
first
so for Carmine Corp
major.
standards, a bad day, but in general, the Carmine Corp standards are so much higher than everybody else's standards. So them finishing top 4, I guess that's not them usually winning, but that doesn't mean they're having a bad day.
No, they lost 4-1. It wasn't like they lost competitive series. They lost 4-1 to BDS, and before that, they lost in the open qualifier to Top Cougars and SA. Before that, they lost in the quarterfinal to Oxygen in Oxygen's first event as a roster together with Joyal.
And then before that, they won three qualifiers and finished top 4 in Copenhagen.
I'm still counting 3 bad days, though, is my point. I think those
I'm
are 3
counting one bad day.
I don't know. I'm going to ask Vatira, and I think he'll say minimum 3 bad days. Because for Vatira, I seriously doubt for Rise.
As
for
he
Atta,
should.
I don't think they're going to categorize that day as anything other than bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a failure in their eyes. That's good for them. That's good. They should do that. That's called internalized greatness. They should be doing that. They didn't need people like me to be rational.
Because they have expectations for themselves that you should have for them.
But sometimes you can't reach your expectations when your bar is set so high. That's just called life.
I think they're allowed to have 1 bad day. When I saw them lose Oxygen in the first event, I said, okay, that's fine. As long as they bounce back in the next one, I'm still going to have them at the very top tier. But then they didn't even qualify, so I moved them way down in my rankings because I think you have to acknowledge that that's not a freak occurrence anymore. It's not just 1 bad day. They've lost to Oxygen, and now they've failed to qualify. And now they've lost to BDS 4-1. This is
Who you have as the rated as the best team in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, but you still have to, there's a gap. I mean, I think BDS, for me, are clearly the #1 team in Europe. I don't think I'd put KC in the same tier as them right now because they are, they're getting consistently underwhelming results, and BDS have just won back-to-back.
Okay, so BDS is a different tier than all the other EU teams.
Yeah, I think right now, for me, absolutely. I think they're the clear best team in Europe. And because of that, I would put every other EU team a tier below them. Yeah.
Okay. If you want to do that, sure, that's fine. I guess I don't necessarily know if I agree, but I can take that. Stax was saying that there's 3 teams in the tier 1. It was Vitality, BDS, and Gentlemates, and Carmine was below that, and I couldn't take that. I couldn't take that one.
Gentlemates are the weird one. So last time, I think most people had them like B tier going into Copenhagen, and they won it. So maybe they're just gonna go into this one and win it again, even though online. They don't look like an S tier team. Yeah, they're not an S tier team right now. But not looking like one. And if they can just win another LAN, I'll be shocked, honestly, because how are they doing this? How are they showing up with such a better? Is it play style? I don't know. I think I don't like the figured out meta. But yeah, I do think other teams are game planning a lot better against particular things that Gentlemates did well. On the first time around. But let's see. They're definitely coming into this event. I have Gentlemates ranked higher than I did last time, and they won the last one. So they're a contender. No denying it.
They won like 96% of their games by 1 goal. So you got to take that into account. They played great defense, but also they had a little bit of fortune that comes with that as well.
I thought Tyler, a win is a win. Bates would not have a problem with that.
A win is a win.
To you.
But I'm just providing context.
It sounds like you don't value those wins as much as other ones.
Oh, no, I value the win because, listen, they did it. Because that means that when they got the lead, they secured the lead. Or when they need to win overtime, they won overtime. I'm not going to take I'm not taking anything away from Gentlemates and what they did. I'm just providing context.
Why is that important, though? Why is the context important?
Because it means that they weren't absolutely slapping everybody when they won. It means that they playing some tight games every single time. And so when they end up losing in online qualifiers, that makes sense. Because that means that some of the tight games that they're winning at the LAN, they didn't win online. Now that also means that those tight games that they're losing online, they can end up winning on LAN again. It's the same thing. I'm just making I would just say people back there would say, Gentleman's clear. I'm like, no, it's tight. They won this time. They gotta do it again though. So I'm just providing a little bit of context. Gentlemates it's hard to
well, they were clear in a different way. They weren't clear by stomping games, but they were undefeated though. They didn't lose a series, so they were the only team undefeated. Every other team lost twice, except Furia, who only lost it 1 time, I think. So Gentlemates were clearly the best team in the sense that they didn't lose a series. They were a different kind of dominant, I guess.
It was a different kind of dominant. More. Are you ready to go to the next one? You look lost.
Yeah, I am. I'm not lost. I mean, sometimes we go a little off track, but I follow along.
Did you just read that from the comment?
No.
Okay, because somebody just said that.
Oh, at least they agree. So, yeah, the biggest thing I think when I was thinking about with this was trying to see where people felt in terms of Oxygen over Karmine Corp. Did they think Oxygen was the better team than Karmine Corp? Seems like you guys think that as a consensus that EU is sending their best for it. So we've been talking about top 10s for the show. I saw your thing, so don't worry. Let's we always talk about our list, and we'll get to our top 10. I know you see it there, but let's switch it up a little bit. We asked the community on Twitter to give us their top 10s. So we did the same thing that we do when it comes down to our list, and we combined all of your top 10s, and we have a community top 10. Let us get ready to get this one going. What does the community have as a top 10? What's number 10?
How many people are in the pool here? Just roughly? Do we know?
I don't know.
Oh, do we know? Ah, man. That's a really good question.
Maybe we can find that out for later.
Yeah, if we get that answer, we'll bring it up. That's number 10, SSG. 100. This is 100.
100 people.
100.
Perfect
Okay.
100.
Hey,
That's
that's a lot of people.
We
That's a
asked
large pool of
100 community members. Number 9.
Top 10
Army
answers on
Corp.
the board.
Carmine
Corp
Corp's on the board. Gen G Mobile 1 Gaming Racing at number 8 for the community.
Okay.
I'm
Fury at
not
7.
bad so far.
All right. Oxygen at 6.
Okay. It's not bad so far.
Gentleman's
This
at
is
5.
acceptable range on every pick so
Yeah,
far.
it's
They're all
actually not
acceptable.
bad.
Vitality at
acceptable.
4.
This is it's still acceptable. I feel like this is all acceptable
Falcons at 3.
speculation.
Wow. G2
G2
and
at
then
2.
BDS 1. Wait, it's actually not bad. Like
This is the community is kind of cooked here. I'm not gonna lie.
genuinely
These are
actually
all
not
I have a real hard
respectable.
time arguing with this
yeah,
list.
this is not bad. Wait, maybe the community knows what they're talking about. Hold on. First touch
Interesting.
viewers.
Not bad at all.
This is super close to my list. The only difference is I had Falcons and G2 the other way around, and I
Yeah, me
basically
too.
had Carmine Corp and Furious swapped, and that was it.
Someone in the chat said we
Carmen
cooked, bro.
Cordelia.
Listen,
I mean,
good
the
stuff, Chad.
closest,
We
the
know
closest
ball.
spread in points from what we've been shown behind the scenes here, Furio was 6 points higher than Gen G. And Gen G 10 points higher than K Corp.
That's right.
It's very
that's
close.
right.
Yeah,
And
very close.
SSG was there's a big drop off from 9 to 10. Over 150 point difference between Carmine and SSG based off the community points right there. This is a good list, man. This is a good list. If
Yeah,
you
it's
want to
not
be
bad.
involved in these type of lists, make sure to follow at First Touch RL on Twitter/X.com. If you want to be involved with that. So make sure to go hit that follow button so you can be involved in these type of lists. But now your list is okay. But now it's time to get to the First Touch top 10. And the First Touch top 10 in the season edition, end of regular season edition.
I'm with
It's
the
time to
community,
get
bro.
into it. It's time to get into it. We're good. Listen, for those of y'all who do not know, our top 10 is is voted on by all, I believe, 8 members of the First Touch team. So this isn't just Raul, Damar, and myself. This is our editors. This is our executive
about to be so
producer.
bad.
Okay. To be fair, this one is really just me, Raul, Bates, and Scott.
Okay, there we go. So let's see.
No,
Bates trying to
G2's
make it
about
out
to be
like
number one.
this
Let's
whole
see.
army, and it's really just
Let's
a
see
platoon.
where we're going. And Ben, make sure you go slow. When we ask
Bro,
for
I
the number,
bet
then
anybody
you debut.
$100. G2's number one.
All right. All right. Number 10. Oh, same as
SSG.
community. SSG.
Respectable.
Not
All
bad
right,
at
all
all.
right.
Number 9. Furia at 9.
Where
You
do-
guys, you're copying me. You're copying my homework so far.
Hold on, wait.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
What we got at number 8? Give me it.
Army
Carmine
Corp.
Corp at 8.
Okay.
Are we still copying Johnny's
That's
homework?
That's only
No,
one
you're,
spot
you're,
difference.
You're not copying my homework anymore. It's respectable, though. Respectable.
All right, respectable. Johnny says, give me number 7.
Okay.
Oxygen at number 7.
Yeah,
Oxygen-
still respectable.
Not bad.
Oxygen
Not
at number
bad.
7.
Not bad.
What's number 6 looking like? Gen G Mobile 1 at number 6.
Yeah,
I'll
I don't
take
know
it.
about that one, buddy.
Gen G Mobile 1 at number 6.
Okay, we'll keep going.
All right, we're looking at number 5
Hey,
now.
that's
It's
okay.
fair enough. It's fair enough.
Gentlemates at number 5. The reigning major champions, they come in at number 5 on the First Touch top 10. Number 4, please. Vitality. The
Okay.
reigning world
Mm.
champions. At the
Gonna
end of
be
the regular season, they still
Falcons,
get in the top 4
BDS,
team.
bro.
Now we
Falcons,
got
BDS,
Falcons, BDS, and G2 left.
No,
Wait,
that's the order.
Falcons
That's
is
the
number
order.
3.
Yeah, of course, that's
Falcons
the order.
There it is.
from
You see
Mina.
who's in this poll?
The
What's that?
representatives
What's that? What's that 2 looking like?
Let me see what number 2 looks like,
Let me
please.
see. Oh, I like that too. I like that
You guys
too.
are so
BDS at
predictable.
number 2.
I like that too. I like that 1 too. I like that 1.
You guys were so
I like that 1. I like that too.
You guys were
I like
so
that 1. I
close.
like that 2. It looking real nice, boy.
You guys were so close. This was your best list yet.
just like they're supposed to be.
You
Look
guys
at
were
this.
so
That's the
close.
first touch top 10 in the season edition. G2 Strive 1, BDS 2, Falcons 3, Vitality
Jamar.
4, Gentleman's 5,
Yo.
Gen 6, Oxygen 7, The Blue Wall at 8, Furia at 9, and then the boys from Orbit sit at number 10. That's your first touch top 10, brought to you by absolutely nobody.
Damar, when we go to Fort Worth for the World Championship, are you going to be shooting your reveal trailer for when you join G2?
First of all, stop it. This dude's already hating a Gen G being a 6. Listen, 6 is a good spot for Gen G, okay? I like that.
Not this current Gen G, bro.
Not this current
Listen, the community absolutely cooked you guys. You guys were respectable, but you threw. I can't believe how predictable that throw was. You know, it was unreal. We all saw it coming.
I called it.
We
I bet
all knew it was
$100
gonna
on it.
happen.
Like
You were doing so well, then you threw at the end. But no,
This
that's
is
maybe
greatness.
still one of the better lists you've seen because other than the throw at the end, it was pretty good. But yeah, the NA brain is strong with the end of the list there, or the top of the list, I should say.
What do you mean? We went with the only team in the world, the most consistent team throughout the whole entire season. The only team in the world that's made every single grand final that they've been eligible to play in.
When
is
I
G2
said that
Strive.
about, we were talking about GOATs earlier on. I said K-Dot's been to a bunch of finals. You didn't like his second places. Now suddenly G2 second places are good.
I didn't say
What's
I didn't
going
like
on?
his second place.
G2
I just
is
brought up
like
second
the-
place just as talking
They're
about.
like the LeBron of Rocket League. They just come second a lot. You know, it's not that.
Come second,
impressive.
like.
Wait,
Yeah.
did Johnny Boy just make a
No,
basketball
bro.
reference?
He actually did.
Wait,
make a
he-
basketball reference. He's been studying, bro.
Oh, I gotta walk away.
He's like, this playoff's been kind of nice.
What the heck was that?
When did Johnny
I know
become a
T-Base.
basketball-
I know T-Base is an MJ fan, so you know I gotta point him out. I gotta point him out that his.
Hey,
G2
listen,
team's
I'm
very
an MJ fan because
LeBron-esque.
MJ never lost. But nobody never
Mm.
loses. Nobody never loses in Rocket
That's
League.
like kind of like this Falcons team who've gone 6-0 and they have not lost a final this year.
Oh,
Like
okay,
G2 have
congratulations.
lost 4.
Congratulations. Were they in the grand final in Copenhagen?
I think they only lost 3 actually. G2. But no,
We're in the
I thought the point was winning finals. Is my point. Like, did MJ make? Did he ever lose a final? He didn't, right?
Ooh.
Okay, time out. Now listen, you want to venture into the
God.
basketball world. You got to know what you're talking about.
Bates,
Because
I don't think I do,
you
actually.
equated winning NBA finals to winning some MENA qualifiers. Listen, that doesn't make any sense. What's the word for that? Chat, give me the word for that. Is that an oxymoron? I don't know.
Listen.
But I tell you that makes absolutely no sense. That's an asinine take because the MENA qualifiers are not the same as the NBA championship.
But you're saying that the NA qualifiers are the same as EU qualifiers.
False
which is-
equivalency,
You're
that's what
making
I'm
the
looking for.
same mistake. You're kind of like talking yourself into a corner here because this is exactly what you're doing. You're saying that G2
Uh-oh.
making every NA final in debatably 2-team region, maybe 1-team region right now is somehow impressive. It would be terrible if they don't make every final. That's what's
Oh.
expected of them. They're expected to make every final. Why are we talking about that as an impressive thing all of a sudden? The
Interesting.
only
Hmm.
impressive final for G2 this season is the major one.
Okay, that's fine.
And
And you know,
The
and you
other
know
ones-
what 2 teams were in that final? BDS and Falcons. They weren't there. They were in the final. So, by your logic, G2's ahead of them. Thank you, Johnny. Case closed.
hey, listen,
Your
so
Honor.
single.
I'll
I
rest it for the jury.
just want to ask one question to finish off this my line of thinking here.
Yes.
In single elimination, is it possible for the second best team to be on the other side of the bracket and therefore not make the final? Is it possible in single elim? That's all I ask. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying I'm asking a simple question. Is it possible for the second, even the third and fourth best teams in single elim to not make the
All
final?
the best teams on the one side of the bracket. It's
I'm just
kinda
asking,
crazy.
can that happen? Is it possible for that to happen?
Sure, it can happen.
Yep, it can.
Well,
glad we
it
agree.
did.
Glad we agree that it can.
Well,
Right,
it
so
did.
you're saying, but G2 beat BDS though.
Yeah, BDS weren't they were the
They
worst team in
weren't this
playoffs.
The
BDS.
Jimmah top 10.
Oh,
What
we
is
got the
this?
Jimmah top 10.
Oh,
What is
here we
it?
go.
What is this? It's a
The
curveball.
Jimmah top 10. I wasn't ready for this. What is happening?
What just happened? What's happened?
Let's see what this is, bro.
All right. Cena's
Number
on
one, Matthew
brand new to this.
Dellavedova.
At least let me justify some of my responses because I'm look, I'm not confident, but I'm also very confident. So we'll just roll with that.
Hold on. When is the Jimmah top 10?
What's a 10? Give me
I have
10.
Okay.
SSG.
At least we
Okay.
all agree with something.
That's consistent.
And SSG, that's a unanimous autonomous number 10 in the world. That's undisputed, unarguable.
Undisputed 10th place.
What a title
my
to have.
Is there a trophy
Undisputed
for
10th
that?
place team.
Is there an invisible trophy for being the undisputed 10th best team in the world?
Number 9's Oxygen.
Oxygen at 9. Oh,
Nine's he's at the Oxygen at the lowest. I think what the community had him at 6, and we had him at 7.
You know why? It's so low because he's playing them round 1.
Because they're going to beat them round 1.
Wait, don't tell me Power's in here at number 1.
Uh-oh.
Oh, whoops.
What's that 8? GG,
Hey, that's my. See, I'm rocking with it. I'm rocking with it.
G's a little lower.
Respectable. Respectable.
G's a little lower here. It's fine. It's fine. Listen, we're not worried about that.
What's number 7?
Okay,
Furious
Furious 7. Not bad.
Respectable.
Respectable.
Not terrible. Not
Looking
terrible. I
good.
can't be bad at it so far.
Number 6.
Okay.
Army Corvette
Blue Wall,
six.
number 6. Blue
Respectable.
Wall still getting a lot of respect from Jimmah. Still getting a lot of respect.
I like them at 7, but it's fine.
What's number 5 look like? Vitality at 5?
Vitality at 5.
I like it. The only person to put
Respectable.
Genomates above Vitality.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like it.
What's number 4?
Whoa,
no.
That's my man.
Can we get a round of applause for Jimmah?
What is
He
this?
absolutely
What's going
cooked
on
those
here?
rounds. All right. Absolutely cooked.
What is happening?
Like a true Jedi, bringing balance.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no.
What's number 3?
I like this top 10.
Let
Yeah,
me
I
just
like
turn
it. I
off my
like it a
DMs
lot.
real quick.
8's at 3. Oh, gosh.
What is this? Jeez, who's trying at 4? Don't tell me you got Falcons at 1. Falcons
What's
at
2?
1?
They're going to be at 2, bro.
Oh, he's got BDS
Oh,
1.
my.
Undisputed number 1 team.
Jimmah, you know ball too much to have G2 Stride at number 4. I'm not saying
What's it? But they lost to Genomates in Copenhagen.
it.
So what happens if BDS and Falcons are the finals in London?
Oh, then that means they're the
and-
2 best teams in the world. Then.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the dream grand final for me.
That is the dream.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would, yeah, I would pay good money to watch them play 100 best of 7s. I would love that final.
See, like BDS Falcons is just way better finals than G2 BDS. Like it is.
This
Yeah, we've already seen
yeah.
G2 BDS.
We
I
already
don't
seen
need to
that
see
happen.
that again.
Yeah, I don't
Bro,
need to see it
listen,
again.
you know
I
what
actually
I'm
went
gonna
to
do?
like a
Gosh.
weekend
Bro,
concert.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go talk to some of my people, and we're gonna go get you a EU citizenship. You're gonna become a member of the EU. Yeah, we're gonna move you out.
Can you make sure
We're gonna
it's
move.
like
We're
in
gonna move.
Spain?
Wait. Is Scotland
sure
still part of
Spain?
the EU? Oh wait, how's that?
No,
Is Scot-
Spain. I want Spain.
No,
Oh, you want Spain?
no, we're sending you to France, buddy.
No,
You're
we're going to France. Actually,
because
we're
you're
gonna
going
go to France.
French
You're gonna go to
boys.
France. I'm gonna
Oui,
send you over there to Paris. I'm gonna send you over to Paris. We're gonna pack you up and move you, cause you are clearly a traitor to your own country.
How
Stop
am I a
yapping.
traitor?
Get out of here, bozo.
How am I a
Wait.
traitor? Just because
You're gonna become a
originally
citizen
picking
of
NA.
France. You're gonna become a citizen of France. Oui.
Oh my gosh, bro, Dad, you're claiming a team that started with 2 European players.
Okay, do they got 2 European players now?
They
There they
have
go.
one.
Exactly. They got
Is he a-
one.
Oh my gosh, what? How am
He's
I a
English.
traitor?
We're going to London. It'll be fine. He can get the boys comfortable situated. Chronic's already been there. First kill will be fine. He's from Florida. He's been to London too. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. That's my team. Okay. If you're talking about G2, G2's all American, top to bottom. Not
That's
really
right.
worried about him. Okay.
That's right.
I wouldn't mind going visit the Eiffel Tower. So send me where you want. You know?
No, I'm
If
saying,
France
it's not
is
gonna be a visit. You're gonna be staying.
staying.
Yeah, you're staying. You're
You're
there
staying.
forever until you
No,
you start to put
that's
some
fine. They
respect
got
on
good
G2.
food over there, right? Like
They do.
they got baguettes.
They
Can
do.
confirm.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can have a baguette.
All right, I'm chilling.
Wait, so Jimmah, explain the G2F4. Explain it.
Okay, so I'll have the foundation as Johnny Boy's basis, right? In terms of you have to run top 8s multiple times, right? To find it. Like, who knows? Like, was the bracket stacked in one side? I'm thinking how G2 looked in Swiss. That being said, we didn't score a goal against G2. They looked phenomenal against us. But in terms of their Swiss, I thought there might have been a few gaps there compared to. And then, of course, I think for me, yes, Gentlemates haven't been performing as well as we kind of expect LAN winners to be. But I just think the defending LAN champions demand some kind of respect. And Gentlemates, and I'll give you a bit of a look behind the curtain too. They were one of the most professional teams I've ever seen. Every time I walked past their prac room, it was like at least 20 people in that room in a circle with multiple whiteboards, just drawing down game plans all on the computers. It was serious. They had thinking music going. They look like a professional sporting club, whereas you go around the other way and everyone's like playing like, I don't know, Fortnite and Call of Duty, having a break from the game. But they really put in the work, right? So I put a lot of cadence into the kind of work that you see on LAN. And I think for me, like the team that I really want to do well, and I just think they have it in them. Like I thought they looked fantastic, and that KC Falcons series I thought was awesome, and I wish that was later on in the bracket. That was a fantastic series, and I think Falcons just show promise that hey, like they could have just won that event. I feel so. That's how I've done it. Like not to count G2 out. It's kind of like a bit of a NA is doing NA things. I think they're sort of figuring it out little bits and pieces. I wish Gen G was doing better. I don't know why they've been looking a little bit lackluster, and I feel that I wish G2 was challenged a bit more. I feel whereas in EU it feels like it really is a fight every time, and that's why for like BDS getting back-to-back wins, that is absolutely massive, and I think that's how I've sort of weighted up there.
I'll tell you something. You know, we all agree that SSG are the 10th best team in the world right now.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees on that.
Yep.
The G2 have just gone #1 seed in NA and won 2 events in NA in a row to go into this event, and their best win they've had is against the 10th best team in the world. They have not beaten anyone ranked above 10. So I mean, you guys didn't like that.
To yourself? Who is Falcons beat then?
I was going to say that you guys used that argument for me and say Falcons have only beaten Twisted Minds, but I rank SSG and Twisted Minds are like the same tier. So yeah, I have SSG higher, but they're the same tier of team. So if you're gonna disregard Falcons' domination in MENA because they've only beaten Twisted Minds, then you have to disregard G2's domination in NA as well because they've only beaten Space Station. Nobody thinks Twisted Minds or Space Station can win the event. Therefore, G2 haven't beaten a contender. They've lost 4 times in a row to Gen G the last time they played. So there are question marks for G2. I've put them third actually in my own list, but I'm not willing to put them above Falcons or BDS because I think Falcons domination, they're the most consistent team, really. They look great in every series they played, except one at the major versus Gentlemates and Swiss, which honestly it wasn't like a terrible series for them. And they bounced back and made it out of Swiss no problem. They played on like Jimmah said, I totally agree with him about the KC Falcons series of the tournament. For me, that was unreal. And Falcons looked like they could have won the event. KC looked like they could have won the event, even though they didn't make the final. Well, not really. When I was watching the final G2 versus Gentlemates, at no point did I think, oh, wow, G2 are winning this. Like, I'm just being honest with you. At no point did I think G2 are going to win. I didn't. Did you? I really didn't. After game one,
we were begging in a watch party, Bates. Like,
I mean, they go down pretty early.
I was watching it. They were 3-0 down. I was like, at no point
I'm talking about going into the series, Johnny boy.
Nah, man, that was.
Well, I mean, I picked
going into the
win,
series, sure.
I did pick Gentlemates, but I mean, G2 just didn't, to me, impress as much as Gentlemates, Falcons, or KC at the LAN. And since then, Falcons haven't lost in playoffs regionally. So how can we rank them lower? I can only move them up. They haven't actually lost. So I'm very excited to see them play on the major.
Yeah, going into that series, I had Gentlemates as like an 80-20 favorite to win that. Like I did not expect G2 was going to win. G2
was I think there was definitely points because me and Stax were casting that. I was looking at each other. I was like, man, I hope G2 can get back up. It looked a little rough when they was doing good at game 5. I was like, oh, this might work. And then Then they dropped off.
I had a guy DM me during the series like, why are you being so negative towards G2? I'm like, because they're not doing anything.
Not Stax admitting that he checked his DMs mid-cast. Now you're going to get DMs all the time now. Now you're gonna get DMs. Hey, Stax, I want you to say this on the cast.
Oh, don't worry, I got you muted.
The thing about G2 is, yes, they're a contender, and they look like they're peaking at the right time, so that's good for them. They've been challenged throughout the year, so they have bounced back from losses. I said coming into the first event, it's good for them that they've actually lost before the major. Otherwise, they're just going to crumble at the major. Now they've lost online, so that's good. They can learn from that. So I like their trajectory. They're going in the right direction. And yeah, I think G2 are definitely a contender. But you guys make this mistake so many times, I feel like, on First Touch, where you go into an event, you call it NA team the favorite, then they like lose once, you're like, what is happening? Why are we continuing to make the same mistake time and time again? I feel like more than half of the open year lands you guys have called G2 or another NA team the favorite, and then it just doesn't end up happening. Like you can't be just putting that pressure on them time and time again. They actually, I think they did
feel like we were
a little
split
bit better.
on this on Copenhagen. I think Bates was the only one who had G2 as a favorite in Copenhagen. Like going into it. I had Carmen
Oh
Court.
wait, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay. Well, KC going to Copenhagen, that was one of the events where I think, there wasn't. But G2 in 2021 for the tail end was probably every NA fan's pick to just be the favorite for every event. I feel like it's a mistake because I don't think that an NA team, until they've won a LAN, deserves to be called the favorite, because NA just hasn't produced good results in so long. And by good, I mean the NA should be winning. That is what's considered a good result on LAN for NA before people say second is good. No, it isn't. Anything other than winning is not good for this region. This region has had every advantage in Rocket League historically, and anything other than winning is not acceptable. Same thing for EU. These teams are built to win, so I don't think they should be called
ready for London. You got me ready now.
Thank you for spitting some sense into T-Bates.
No, I'm ready now. I'm locked in. I'm locked in for London. It ain't gonna be like 2022. I can promise you that. That won't be that. What I mean is BDS won't get first rounded. Yeah, so it ain't gonna be like 2022 just because of that alone. BDS will be playing in front of the crowd in London. I'm confident in that one. And also, me hyping up G2, some will say I'm a paid actor. I would say I'm not, but some will say I am. So that's neither here nor there. But the point of what I'm making is, NA's ready, and we coming. We coming, baby. It's time to get in.
What's different this time? Just out of curiosity, what do you think is different this time as opposed to the last 5 LANs?
Well,
Yeah.
see, what's different is the fact that one,
Right.
you learn from your losses. Atomic, I asked them on the interview when they won the last qualifier. I said, "What's different?" He said, "Listen, I'm coming at a different perspective. It's all about the grind now. No need to be complacent. We won the qualifiers, but we got to be able to produce in London. We got to be able to do this in Fort Worth. That's the difference for 2 years from now. Atomic is a vet. You had it, Daniel. You had it, Beast Mode. You see Beast Mode, he's Spider-Man. Atomic, he's Iron Man. And Daniel, he's Captain Marvel or something. I don't know. I don't know. And listen.
Now, stop calling that boy Captain Marvel.
No, and I'll tell you
please.
this too. EU, it's like Thanos. And Thanos is Monkey Moon. And what happens in any game? Thanos goes down. So in London and Fort Worth, it'll be something different.
I keep trying to tell you this is not that movie, bro.
I think it is.
This is not that movie, bro.
I think it's written. I think it's written. I think it's scripted. I think life is scripted sometimes, and we're in one of those moments. We live in a simulation. And I just believe that NA, EU, and maybe in the Falcons are going to ball out in London. And I think we're going to have some great grand finals. I think eventually, how the next one of these 2 lands, an NA team will take it home.
Do you think this is like the Matrix where there are multiple simulations going on? Like, is there one where you actually played at a LAN?
There is.
That's okay.
That's a crazy question. There's an actual world where
just-
G2's winning everything and T-Bates is loving life. It's not this one, buddy.
There might
No,
be
I
a
don't
world
want-
where
I don't-
T-Bates is an actual pro player.
No, he's
No.
actually he's
no,
a pro
no.
player on G2.
No. I don't want the simulation where G2 wins everything, because then I become like Johnny. I don't want to be Johnny. I like being an underdog. I like being able to root for the teams that don't win. If I become like a European, it's just boring. They seem too posh. All they're doing is say, "Well, you can't beat us because we win it all the time." I don't want to be like that. I want to be the underdog. I want to have a story. They just walk into everything on land and they just expect to win. I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to go against the odds. So yeah, I'm gonna stay just right here where I like it. I'm comfortable.
It doesn't make sense. So you just called G2 the favorites. You guys just ranked them number 1. How are they the underdogs?
Yeah, how are they the underdogs? Please, buddy.
But first off, they're the favorites in my eyes. But I know they're
How
not the
many
favorites in the
topics
rest
do
of
we
the
have? How much time do we have? Like,
It's just, I'm trying to make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add
Listen,
up.
don't
I feel
worry
like
about
there's
that. Time to
something
move on
missing.
to the next topic.
That's-
Move or no move.
That's when he knows he's not making sense.
You're welcome,
No,
Banks.
I just don't have time to talk about that. Move or no move? Huh?
Let's
Move
keep
or-
going.
All right. So, move or no move. The objective here is we are going to put teams up on the bar. You are going to let us know, well, I guess we are all going to say whether or not this team should make a move or they should stick through. This is through the offseason. So, all of these teams, except for one of them, their seasons, or two of them, their seasons are over. So, first things first, you can see it. Carmi Corp is on the block. Move or no move? Should we do thumbs down, thumbs up? Should we let everybody go around? What do we?
No, but y'all just say it at the same time.
Okay,
A chaotic way of doing it.
sure. Okay, on three, say move or no move. 1, 2, 3. No move.
No move.
No move. Their season's not over. This isn't even a consideration yet.
That
They can still-
okay. First of all, that doesn't matter. I don't think that matters because there's teams
What?
there are teams that talk at World Championships before they are even eliminated about making roster moves.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they
sometimes
should
before.
be talking though. That,
Wait, so
like,
did
if they-
everyone
Well, they
say no
shouldn't.
move?
Yeah. You think
Why?
Karma needs to make a move?
Why?
Well, you always think teams need to make moves, bro.
why,
'Cause you're ridiculous.
why aren't they making a move? Why shouldn't they?
Because they're great.
They could win worlds. They could literally win.
No, I'm talking about after the season.
Yeah, but if they win worlds, should they make a move? Because
If
right
they
now,
win
the way I
Worlds,
see
they're
it
not
is,
gonna make a move, right?
No,
But
if they don't
Yes.
if they don't win Worlds, they still shouldn't make a move.
if they don't win Worlds, they shouldn't.
No.
it all depends. It all depends. I think it's not even a consideration right now. The only thing they should be thinking about is winning worlds, and then depending on what happens, they can figure out the next season. But KC right now thinking about making a move would be ridiculous. It would be very short-sighted. They could still win worlds.
This is a very awkward topic too, because like I've been pretty vocal about like I'm never gonna recommend teams make moves or any specific moves they should make, because the idea of saying yes, player X should lose their job, you know, we get that on the caster side way too often. I think it sounds miserable to say. The reality is all of these teams are probably going to make moves, whether they should or not. I mean, it will take a world championship for K-Corp to not make a move, because that team is built around Vatira, and they might just bring 2 new players in every season until they win a world championship. And then who knows? I mean, historically, they have not stuck together. So, I mean, you've got 2 guys there who have had a ton of teammates over the past couple of years alone. So even if they win the world championship, they might still not be together.
I mean that's true. I just think it's a little foolish right now for them to continuously stick. You think I pre-jump moves so much, but like I said, NRG should break up way before y'all thought they should break up. This game just moves way too quick. In order for them, like if they don't win worlds, 100% there will be a move, and it probably has to happen because things happen internally on these teams that you don't recover from. It's gonna take so long, and these players don't tend to stick around to fix these problems. They just look for another player to just fit in and get fresh new eyes and fresh new just a fresh pair of hands on the field next to them. Like they don't stick around through the turmoil ever.
No move.
Okay.
I'm always advocating for people to keep their jobs.
Unless it's to bring Joel back, then move. Rise Royal Vatira round 2. Ship it.
All right. Shall we continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oxygen. That's like compared to the just. The
I mean,
earlier
yeah, this
conversation.
is just
No move.
Same, no move. Same.
I mean, they
They can
shouldn't
win
move.
worlds.
No move.
This is
Listen, I'm trying to give us some advice in these rosters. They shouldn't be doing all these moves, man. To keep it all the same.
But why are we talking about teams that are still in London/Worlds? I don't think this is even a thought. Like for them.
Oh no!
Sure.
Oh no! Which thoughts? I don't know about for them. I know that teams have been thinking about these things prior to, like DeMar said.
Yeah, doesn't make it
I still
okay.
think this is still a dumb thing to be thinking about. So I don't know. Like
It is definitely a dumb thing to be thinking about.
And they are
boy,
thinking about
I guarantee you some of them are.
They are thinking about it.
Next team is wait, I already said Oxygen. Luminosity. I'm sorry.
Yeah, move.
I mean, yeah, move. This is a move.
It didn't work. Experiment failed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do though. I don't know what you do. I don't know who you go for. I don't know. I don't know. I'm all about the culture, man. Maybe the culture needs to stay together for another year. Run it back.
You just
There's no
want to see
shot,
them
bro.
lose, like.
I mean, all it takes is some grind. Maybe Cheese get a little bit more composure. So let her work on the mechanics. Magic get better. They got the game plan. They got the implementation. They grind.
So why for certain teams and players you want like okay, for the argument that we had for NRG, you said Garrett needs winners now, but for this team you want them to actually grind to win and not pick up a
now
new talent.
because Garrett hadn't won in so long, and Garrett has been a. I mean, he's been a winner since he came into the league. So yeah.
True.
I mean okay, you're not gonna win all the time. It's about how you get back up to the top, right? So why not have Garrett transition into a leader? I mean, this is not even about Garrett, but transition into a leader, pick up a young gun. Instead, you want him to win now. But for this team, Reynolds, who is a leader, you're like, nah, like they need to make a move because Reynolds needs to win now, I guess.
No, I didn't say they need to make
They need to not make a move.
I think they're fine right there. I think I like him. I like Luminosity right there.
There's
I like
no shot. How
like
they have so much baggage now from all these losses. There's just no way that's a smart thing to try and bounce back from. I don't think that. I mean, they were kind of already overperforming to make a major in the first place. I don't think that roster in any stage of Rocket League history has ever looked like a team that should be like those players. I mean, Rattles is the only player on that team who's ever been a certified like, okay, this is a player on a top 4 team in NA. Magic Bear and Cheese have yet to show that. So it's not like we're looking at players like an OG, players who have done it, or gentlemates like the leftover pieces who have won other events. Like this is a team like LG have not actually won anything other than Rattles ages and ages ago. So I think they need to change. They need to switch it up. It's not working. Rocket League's too fast paced for a team like they're really, really struggling. I mean, we're talking really struggling. They've got so far to go if they're going to be a contender.
Interesting. Oh,
it's interesting because I see what they're saying, but at the same time, I don't like the sound of it.
Well, you want them to stick?
I don't. It's really hard for this team particularly. Because I do think that this team was something that was like it's like the sum of their parts was greater to what they could all accomplish individually. I do feel like what they were able to accomplish as a team, I don't know if any of them branching off or making a change helps. It might I do think it might hurt for them in that case. It might for all those individual players, where would they go that would fit? Where would they go to make things, just an upgrade or et cetera, et cetera? I think it's easy to bring a player over, but then when you talk about, but then it's like the question is to who? People can't even answer the question of who stays, who goes in that aspect. I think
I think blow up the roster. They all need to something new. Like nobody stays. I don't think you keep anyone together on that LG roster. I think the whole team, you blow it up. They all try something different because if you keep any two of the three together, there's just too many losses. Too many failures, too much baggage. Like it is so hard to bounce back from being that far down the wrong, like that far down the ladder. They have so many. Like they have multiple tiers to go up before they get to a contender level. But they want to be contending for lands. I'm sure these are competitive players, but they're like way off like recontending LAN, way off. So I think they got to blow up the roster in my opinion. Try something completely different, get a fresh look.
Man, that is crazy. Jimmah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's really tricky. Like I was deep in thought there on that one, and maybe because as a coach, I really value like when a team can work it out. I think those are really good skills to just have in your back pocket. If you come across an issue, you didn't get a result you wanted, and you action some kind of strategy or you have some kind of intervention with the team, you learn skills that are really good for sticking together. And I think a really classic case of that one is we brought up KC before. I think KC should never split because I think that was the team that Vatira wanted. I don't know. I don't speak with him. Like he assembled basically a team of superheroes. You got an excellent coach. You got excellent players. It's all there, right? And there's no reason to to abandon that, right? And then take a team like Oxygen. I still think they haven't hit their peak yet. Like I do expect them to continue to get better if they keep up what they're doing, right? But then you wonder with a team like Luminosity, where it appears that it almost, and I have no idea. I don't sit in their comms. I don't know what they're going through, but it almost feels that the team's, it looks a bit dysfunctional, and not in like a negative way. It's just that players grow, they evolve, they change, they value different things in the game, and eventually, as players, coaches, whoever diverge, the teams start to go through. And sometimes it could just be a mutual shake of the hands. Hey, we're becoming different players. We value different things. It's time to go elsewhere, right? And this often works. I mean, look at the previous KC roster. I'm not too sure how that went down, but obviously Vatira stayed in KC. Exotic moved, Itachi moved, and they're both doing fantastic on completely different rosters, right? And you can see that the teams play wildly different. So I like to see that players can disband and evolve different teams with the same token, stick it together. That's a really non-answer, quite long-winded, but that's kind of where I'm at on that one.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it regardless because it is good points to talk about both sides of it because there are pros and cons to both depending on the sum of the parts of the team or just team by team case. So let's see what we have next here on the docket. Complexity is the next team. This is CRR, Diaz, and Raise Bull. What are we thinking? I'm interested, Raul, what you think on this one, especially because Complexity is a team that has made changes. They didn't get the result they wanted initially when they had AJG on the roster. Brought in Dorito, that was criticized. They brought in Diaz, who everybody thought, at least on paper, was going to do really well. But then now we don't even see them at the major. So what do you think about this?
I mean, I think they got to stop making moves. This team specifically, I don't know. It's kind of hard because I really wanted to hear Johnny because I think Johnny has a huge opinion on Diaz that maybe Diaz this he just needs time to progress. This is his rookie split on like a top team or a team that has huge expectations, I guess. So and with CRR, Raise Bull, I think those two players are they're certified. Like they are league players and they are LAN players. They should be at LANs, but maybe Diaz just needs a little bit more time. And with this all season, there's going to be a lot of time for Diaz to work on this. So I think you just stick with the young gun and let him improve. You're not making the world championship anyway. So
yeah, I kind of agree on the Diaz thing. I think Diaz potential is unbelievable. He could be one of the best players in the world in threes in RLCS one day. So yeah, if you're looking for a young player to invest in, he is that guy. He's one of the newest gen in South America that's coming through and just looks so ridiculously good at the game. I mean, if you watch, I put a lot of stock into just watching somebody like play the game, seeing how they are just in Rocket League in general, whether it's ranked or ones or twos. I think Diaz is just unbelievable. He is so good. So I think, yeah, who are you going to get that's got more potential than him? Not many players are going to be available, if anyone's going to be available. So then the question would be, do CRR and Raise Bull call it? They say, hey, we've tried it long enough together and now it's time to go our separate ways. I think maybe that's the conversation there. Because they have tried for 2 seasons now and they haven't reached their goals together. They have done
Mhm.
some impressive things. You know, winning a regional in NA last season, winning a regional in SAM together. Like they won regionals together in 2 stacked regions. But that's not what those guys want to be doing. They obviously have, you know, goals to be contending for majors, contending for international events, and they've not done that 2 seasons in a row now. So maybe it's time.
What do you think is Stax?
I'm very much of the opinion that that is a roster that has made too many changes over the past year and a half. Just every time you turn around, they're trying somebody new, or there's a rumor that they're going to completely dismantle the roster and try and build around somebody. Just stick it out. You know, have a go at it early next year. If you know, if you get through the first half of next year and you think, okay, well, you know, this isn't working. Listen, this season has already proved that, you know, the second half of the season, if everything remains the same, is where you really want to have your big flourish anyways. So, you know, I think that this is a team that is worth more than many others. This is a team that is worth hanging around together for at least half of another season.
Full beans. Next team.
Did you even say your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't care.
Next team
You
is
did it.
Shopify.
I
Shopify
know,
Rebellion.
it's just,
I
that
want to
surely
jump
needs
into
some.
this one. I'll
That
get
surely
to
needs
it.
some qualification. Why don't you care? Sorry, about complexity and whether they should make a roster move. And we're talking instead about like Oxygen and Carmine Corp for extended periods of time. What? Why?
Oh,
That's an outrageous take. Not to
complexity?
care.
Because
Yeah.
they don't know what they're doing. They've made too many roster moves. So at this point,
What?
at this
Have
point,
they,
I've
though?
lost faith.
Like,
They got-
they
they let-
played
they
the
let-
whole
they let
season with
go.
AJG, and then
Huh?
they made 2 moves since then.
Exactly, 2 moves, and they haven't gotten any better because of them.
That's probably why they made moves, because it didn't
Exactly,
get,
because they don't know what they're
better.
doing. So they're probably gonna keep making moves. They're gonna keep making moves until they retouch that magic what they had with AJG. But you know what happens? Sometimes when you got everything within a bottle, you should keep it like that. But instead, they opened up the bottle, they took off the cap, and then they poured AJG out, and they've been trying to get to that same consistency, but they can't get there.
I don't know. It sounds like you guys are just taking the AJG benching personally, and now you don't. Now you're taking it out in complexity, and you know, not wanting them to see them do well because they benched AJG once. I didn't agree with AJG benching either, but that still doesn't mean that you can't analyze and take interest in their future roster moves. And I don't think that they would
I
have
don't
been
think
the
that's-
team in SAM with AJG anyway. So if they kept AJG, would they have beaten Furia? I don't think so. So maybe they
That's-
needed to try
that's
something
valid.
different.
I agree. I think that's valid. I wouldn't say I was taking it personally. Like,
I didn't
anyway.
take it personal.
yeah.
I'm just saying doesn't seem like they know what they're doing. So yeah, at this point, they can do
But
whatever they want.
that is such like I feel like that is such speculation. If a team makes a move and it works, we say, oh, they know what they're doing, and if they make a move and it doesn't, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, how about they just didn't know exactly how the results were going to pan out in competition with the new roster until they actually played with the new roster until they saw it? You never know. How are they supposed to know how the new roster is going to go until you play
If I
competition? with
go
them?
game 5 with Vitality, I go game 7 with Complexity. Who else did they go game 7 with? I mean, they lost to all the best teams in the world in Champions Field all last year, bro. If you mean to tell me you're not on the cusp of being great with that roster, and you have the audacity to go in and make a roster change?
I just feel like out of all the roster moves CRR's made in his career, those were the ones that they were not even like the weird ones.
He
for
went
me.
and got
I
Dorito
mean,
trip back.
Dorito is a crazy move to me.
to pick up Dorito for AGG. But then, okay, so if we
Dorito-
think that's
Dorito's a
bad,
crazy
then
move.
surely to get rid of him is good, right? Like, does that not cancel each other out?
What happened?
If you don't like that they picked up Dorito, surely you should like it when they got rid of him.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's not
but they
necessarily
shouldn't
like I
have gotten
like
them in
it.
the first place.
I didn't necessarily like it when they pick up Dorito. I think you should stick. You pick up Dorito, you remove AJG, you should stick. Listen, we talk about
What?
complexity. It's just my interest.
give
my
it-
interest wasn't
They
that
should
peaked.
not have stick with
Shopify.
Dorito.
If you make
Shopify
if you
I
make
wanna
it
hear
better,
it.
Johnny,
Jimmah had a-
I
wanna
just
hear
hope
what
that
Jimmah's
teams
gonna say
in general
about
know what they're
Shopify.
doing.
Jimmah had a point
because
about
there's not enough
Shopify.
time.
I wanted to hear that. Sorry, sorry for the tangent there.
All right, I'll kick this one off only because Shopify was a team that I generally thought that they were going to be when they first announced their roster. I expected them to just to be great. I think they look like on paper they should gel together. When they're playing well, they're really exciting. But for me, maybe this is a bit of NA cope, I guess. But I don't know when NA will win another LAN, but when they do win one, I reckon 2Piece is going to be on the team.
Oh,
I reckon. I reckon
Okay.
2Piece is.
I like that.
I don't know what it is. Well, I think I could have been really tired. I just got up real early. I watched NA. I was tired. Wasn't overly excited. Not the gameplay. I was just tired. But he's a really exciting player to watch. So I would love to see this team just shuffle it up. I would love to see, where 2Piece might go. Not to say that his teammates aren't up to scratch. Like, they're fantastic. They work together. Like, when they play well, it's really exciting.
Mhm.
But 2Piece, it's awesome to see a player just beat out a whole team. If you can get the ball past all three, it's awesome to watch. So I'd love to just for the sake of seeing where he can go, who he can connect with. I just want to see a shuffle there. That's my hot take for tonight. There we go.
That was a crazy take. I actually enjoyed that take.
I love that take. That's a bold take. I like
Yep.
bold takes, but it's also, I mean, it's true. 2Piece is unreal. I think
Mhm.
2Piece is already a top 10 player NA, and he's not even made a LAN. So I think he's so good. And if you're putting all of Gen G, G2, and LJ in the top 7, I think that's everybody's consensus top 7 NA. I think 2Piece has to be like 8, 9, or 10. Maybe even 8, honestly. Like, he's ridiculous. I love that. I would love to see 2Piece with other players in the top 10 in NA. But man, I'm so
Absolutely.
sad Shopify didn't make London, just to see Justin back at London, because they played such a fun
They
style.
looked
I loved
really
watching them
good.
play.
Yeah.
So I'm torn. I totally am with you there, Jimmah, because I want to see them play more. I want to watch them again. I loved watching them play. So obviously I want to watch them play more. But 2Piece is ridiculous. He could be on a LAN winning team for sure.
He's been great ever since his debut. Everybody has, I think, unanimous has been waiting for him to like have his moment. And I don't know who gets replaced on these teams, or who sticks and all that. But one of the guys that I'm looking forward to seeing kind of take that next step too is Kofir in NA. I probably butchered that name, but
Kofir.
Go for it.
yeah. I think that he's kind of had a nice little jump onto the scene this season, and going through some of the quals. And I think he's poised to have a big next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. A little interesting. We don't have the little bar for this one, but the last one was Luna Galaxy. And we talked about this earlier. I know we brought it up earlier a little bit, if Luna Galaxy would move or not. I mean, they did as well as they did. They made finals, but at the same time, and they pushed BDS, but at the same time, the season is over. Yep. This is literally a chronic, almost in like another Team Liquid kind of situation, where Team Liquid first came in, did really well, and then their season was over.
Whether they should or not, they 100% will. They make a move.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say no move. Like, you just made the finals in arguably the toughest region in the world. Like, stick or you're stupid. But
well,
unless
imagine Atomic. What if Atomic gets an offer? What if a team, one of the big French teams, or Oxygen or someone? What if they don't have the end of season majors they're hoping for? They really underperform on LAN. They're looking to make a change. Atomic's got to be one of the players that teams go looking at. And if he gets an offer from one of those teams, like, you got to consider it. And you got to be that tryout's like an instant accept, in my opinion. Atomic's like.
Do you think they actually would offer him a position though? Because don't they want to keep it like French speaking?
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, KC common kind of a hybrid French English, but they could common English for sure. I mean, Vitality's a full French roster. Obviously, Gentlemates all speak English. I think if they had to, they would common English. But yeah, they obviously like the group of players that are in those teams. Right now, I couldn't point at any of them and say they're going to make a move. But you never know. The lines are going to go. I expect any team that doesn't go well at London and Worlds to make a move. And Atomic, after the end of the season he's just had, has to be a player those teams are looking at. He just has to be.
Okay.
Or he should be, I think.
We'll see what happens with Luna Galaxy over the course of the offseason. Gentlemen, we're entering our final topic with about 5 minutes left. It's GM time. I know you guys see community takeaways at the bottom. we'll talk about that at another time, please. We want to hit this one up here before then. So, building a Worlds team. The player pool of players you get to choose from are players who are not at the World Championship. Stax, I know you have a list, so you get to go first.
Well, I made my list and then I realized I flubbed on the list, so I gotta pick somebody else. So somebody else go.
Lame. You made your list and then you realize you can't count. It's okay.
My list starts with Joyo and CRR because I don't think Joyo's gonna make it. I don't think they're gonna get the runner-up they
Joyo's has the
need.
potential of making it, so you can't pick him.
What?
Yeah.
CRR could still make it as well, so you can't
And
pick him
CRR
either.
gets to make it
Well,
too. So
yes, he can make it, but I don't think. Okay, fine.
listen, yeah,
Players that don't
maybe
have
you
a
should pick
chance.
some
Then yes,
teams
I
that don't have
really need to revise my list.
Don't worry. You can revise yours. I'm gonna go Justin.
That's it. That's all.
Give me Atomic. Give me Atomic. Give me Atomic. Justin Atomic. The third's a little more difficult here. I need to be precise with what I do. I don't honestly. I mean, I wouldn't mind the 2-piece. I wouldn't mind a 2-piece with it. I could take the 2-piece with it.
So you're replacing Parth with Atomic?
I sure did.
That's crazy. I feel bad for 2-piece, man. That's his brother. You just killed his brother.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if I did that much, but yeah, yeah. I just separated him from his duo, and then I paired him up with Atomic. I think that's a great team. I think that team could do damage at World Championship. I think that team, honestly, if you put them in EU or NA, they would be competing for land spots right now.
if you just put Atomic in for Parth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they'd definitely be competing for line spots. Cause look at what Atomic's doing right now in Europe, and Shopify nearly made land from NA already. So yeah, that's.
Does Atomic add to the defense though?
I don't need defense. I score points.
I mean, Shopify was scoring points.
your
And
team?
they didn't
I
have no
think-
defense.
I think Atomic does though. No, I think Atomic does. I don't think he's not a bad defensive player at all. I think he's a good defensive player. I think he's just a good all around player. I think he would be better than Parth, but just generally he'd be much better at offense and just better all around, I would say. But that's because Atomic. It's not because Parth is bad. It's because Atomic is just unreal. He's unreal right now.
Atomic's just better.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad defender. I think that team they played very good defense as a squad the pretty much entire tournament. So I was impressed with their just general play. They weren't a glass cannon like current Shopify were a glass cannon for sure.
They were glass cannon.
Luna Galaxy were not a glass cannon. They were very solid.
Okay.
Stax, did you remake your team?
Probably about as well as I'm going to.
Okay.
God, that really threw me for a curveball. I mean, I think 2-piece would probably be on everybody's team. So I thought about going without 2-piece, but I got to go 2-piece. I'll take Oli, and I would take Raziers. The window might be closing on Raziers. I know everybody was really excited with him after, I think, the first Gamers 8, and we're still kind of waiting, like, okay, when's he going to have his superstar moment? But if you're asking me for players that aren't going to be at Worlds, I think a team of Oli, 2-piece, and Raziers would make for one heck of a roster.
My team is sweeping your team. Jimmah, do you have a team?
Yeah, so mine's got a few conditions. The first condition is that Oxygen make the grand final, and what I'll do is I would pick up KC. And that is
insane. That's insane.
No.
That's not why.
There's layers to this. Because I'm also going to pick up Farah as well. So like I'll be like his assistant coach, and like I'm going to work out the budget, and I'm going to have 2-piece as like a dangerous sub, and like Farah and I can talk like when are we going to put
have a
2-piece
4-man
in?
roster?
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I reckon that would be a winner. I think so. I'm gonna pick
This
up
man
that.
added conditions to the question as a teacher would, of course. Yeah, of course.
Hey, while we're rounding out rosters, we need a coach. I would take Achieves in a heartbeat.
There you go. Good at Chiefs. Good at coach of Chiefs. I think I'll just coach my own team though. I think I'll be willing to bring this.
Oh,
Bring the
they're
coaches.
Then you ain't
losing the
sweeping
Stax
mine.
team.
Oh, you
Yep.
would
They're
you would
not
tilt your
winning.
team. You would
They're
tilt
not
your team
winning.
up as a world, bro.
I'm a
I
great
see
coach.
Base standing in the back. Control the ball.
I'm a fantastic coach. I
They're
know
gonna
too much.
find a way to mute that mic.
I know
Okay.
too much Rocket League. I know too much Rocket League. I'm too bright. I'm too bright for this. Johnny, what's your team?
Midway
Man?
through
You're
game
gonna
one,
have
he's
your-
just going to turn to the referee on stage and go, timeout! I need a timeout!
No,
My
T-Bate's
guys,
just
you
gonna have
need
his
to
whole
stop
team.
choking.
T-Bate's
Coach,
he's gonna
we're
have
up
his whole
2-1. What are you
team.
talking about?
They're just gonna be sitting in net. He thinks defense is OP. I don't want to see that. Like nobody needs to see T-Bate's team play. Now I'll make an upgrade. Listen, I love the resurgence of Justin. I'm here for it. I was hoping that they make London. They were very close. It was a super entertaining run. But I'm gonna need to upgrade him. I know you put him in your team there, T-Bates, Justin, 2-piece and Atomic. I'm gonna leave 2-piece and Atomic in my team. But I'm switching Justin out for Swift from Ninjas in
Oh,
Pajamas.
NIP. Okay.
Mm.
Swift, just had his debut season, and yes, super impressive. He's 15. Now a regional winner from South America, taking down Furia in Qual 5. They didn't get the job done in Qual 6, but I'm still super impressed with this kid. I think, put him, Atomic, and 2-piece in a roster. That's your 3. That's
Okay,
my
that
3
team's
at
good.
least.
I think all of our teams are good besides Stax's. Raw, what's your team?
Man,
Alright.
Bates hates the Chiefs. Imagine.
Throw you out for a little curveball here. All right, we're gonna keep the Atomic. All right, that's the only pick that I'm keeping. Atomic's gonna run my offense. I'm gonna pair him up with Samu from the Middle East. That
No,
Twisted Minds.
you can make worlds though. You're
You
cheating.
can make twisted minds. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
You
god.
can make worlds.
So
God.
we'll patch you up that
Stop
you don't know
cheating.
follow instructions either, and you didn't say any conditions.
Gosh, bro.
Yeah, I mean you could take Samu if you think that twisted minds
Nah,
don't
they're
make
gonna
worlds.
make it. They're gonna
Okay.
make it.
All right. So then
He
we're
was
going
real. He was
to
real ready for that.
Damar.
All right.
Dang it, bro.
So this was pretty simple. Of course, I'm going with the 2-piece. I'm going 2-piece. I'm going Atomic, and my third is gonna be Percy. I got Percy in the back.
No, bro, you took my.
Nope. You don't know how to make your team. So this real general managers club
You
here.
took my top 5 player, bro. You don't even
Oh,
pick his top
man.
5, bro.
Oh man, that's so sad.
Unfortunately, you had
But
the
I
first.
believe
You
how
had
to
the
win.
first, you had the first
Well-
option. You know what you did? You choked.
Oh
You choked.
my
You
Yep,
choked.
you
You
choked.
choked
You
on your
missed your
team
pick
building.
time.
You missed your team building.
We need to bring Salt Mine Atlantic draft back.
No, we don't. We keep the,
Yeah,
no,
we
we
do.
keep that up. We don't need
Oh,
to play
yeah,
that
we
ever
do.
again. That doesn't need to happen. We're good. We're so
I
good.
think
I
I'm
did
ready.
hear Bates
At
tell
anytime.
Raul
At
that
anytime.
he could, if he didn't think a team was going to make worlds, take them. So with that in mind, Joyo, CRR, and 2-piece. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Anyways, I think we went overtime. It's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah, that is true. It's time for you to go to
It's
bed.
3
It's time for
o'clock.
4
Jimmah to
p.m.,
go to bed, get some rest, and it is time for us to end this show today, ladies and gentlemen. The regular season is over, and so is this episode of First Touch. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in week in and week out. Thank you to our guests, Johnny Boy, Stax, and Jimmah. It's a pleasure to have all you guys on. We really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for all of your time.
Thank you guys.
Of course, everybody behind the scenes that makes this show possible day in and day out, everybody in the community as well. Thank you guys. All of your passion, your tweets, you in Twitch chat, we appreciate
Better
it
start
so
screaming so
much.
they can hear you.
Of course, I'm doing it. Now, of course, thank you, Raul Bates, and everybody behind the scenes on First Touch, making sure this show works day in and day out. Chat, no Rocket League this weekend, or RLCS, I should say, this weekend, but keep it locked in at First Touch RL on Twitter and at everybody else's on their socials as well to follow all of the latest updates and game knowledge. That's going to be it for us. We'll be back next week. 1, 2, toodaloo. See you guys.